Tell Sonya I want to. This is not the mayoral candidates, the aldermanic candidates. Look at y'all getting y'all some free.
This traffic report is sponsored by Staples. Staples has the supplies you need to run your business like a boss. Now a case of Staples multi-purpose paper is only $39.99. Plus rewards members earn additional $10 back in rewards. Offer valid on SKU 513096, limit 2, and 3219. Staples. WVON traffic and weather now.
Right now on the inbound side of the Bishop Ford, you want to look out for stalls at night lucky on the left lane at 130th Street. Your complete travel time in 29 minutes from I-8094 to the Ryan. Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, still light traffic there. As you make your way along the Ryan, give yourself 25 minutes from 95th Street to downtown. Outbound just fine. The Stevenson off to a 41-minute start from over 55 to the drive. Outbound pretty much free flowing. A 35-minute trip along the I-Tunnel from Gardner to the Jamestown Interchange. Outbound just fine. And so far, so good along the Kennedy, pretty much moving along at 26 speed from O'Hare to downtown and back again. Taking that first look at the weather, pretty cold. Right now, we're looking at 18 in South Shore. It's 18 and 18 degrees here in Madison. That's cold.
Morning.
The views expressed on our programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or participating sponsors.
Maze Jackson on
What up, y'all?
the 1690 WVON. Rise and shine.
Wake up!
Wake up.
Wake up!
Wake up. Wake up. Rise and shine with the WVON Morning Show. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Featuring Maze Jackson.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The WVON Morning Show.
Morning, Melissa. Morning, Denise.
991-1690. Wake.
What up, Dr. Dolly? Sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking. Time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much. Man, I was watching a Teddy Pendergrass special last night. There, listen. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. It's magic. Shit, I called that dude. You even know my la 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 la. The world won't get no better. Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, and sitting there with me, as he will be doing for the rest of the week. And I'm going to tell y'all, we are going to be giving you some of the top shelf, top inside information and insights as it relates to Election Day. It is former Cook County Board President Todd Stroger. Todd, how you feeling this morning?
Good morning. Feeling cold. Yeah.
You know what, Todd? It is kind of, you know what? I'm going to tell y'all. You know what I think? I think it's a conspiracy going on. You know what I think? I think, you know how when you move, when you leave and you don't want to pay your last month rent and the landlord be acting crazy on you, or you about to leave and the landlord, not that, you leave and the landlord got an attitude. Maybe they trying to freeze us out or something. Is that what's going
If
on?
it had to been 50 before, it probably wouldn't feel so cold.
But let me tell you what, it is all good. I'm just playing. We're having a good time in the studio, but it is a little chilly. You see, I got my Scully on, but do you notice I have my exclusive "What's in It for the Black People" Scully? This is the let me stop.
You're looking very dapper.
You know what? I try to keep it together, along with my exclusive co-branded May Said dash gray on gray. What's in it for the black people? May Said jacket too. Vest, excuse me, with the fur lining. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. I'm all right. Let's do the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. That's former Cook County Board President Todd Stroger. Todd, and this is a special day today, man. Let me ask you a
Is
question.
it my birthday?
No, but let me ask a question, because you come from a political family, man.
Yeah.
Do you get kind of itchy today? Do you feel some kind of way on election day?
No, I just know that there's a whole bunch of people who got up at like 3 o'clock, went out, started putting down signs or taking down signs, whatever. And there's a lot of people who start this day when most people are just rolling over for the third time.
Man, well, I'm gonna tell you what. I remember those days, man, and I still feel some kind of way. Actually, I am still suffering a little, not shell shocked, but you remember for the last 2 election cycles, my beautiful and lovely wife, the president of the MWRD, Carrie Steele, was on the ballot.
Right.
So I was completely engrossed in the elections. This time it feels good to kind of be able to sit. You know what? Like we both yesterday. Yes, it was actually, I'm not on the sidelines because you know my main man,
That's true.
but you know what?
Now, I'm not really on the sidelines either, so I guess.
Right.
Right. Are you ever really on the sidelines?
You never-
Somebody you want to push for.
Yes, and so you know I'm shouting out for. I got a couple guys in it this time, so big shout out to Alderman Walter Burnett and all the precinct captains. Shout out to Jarrell and all those guys that are lining up this morning. They are the 3 o'clock crew. I remember being on the 3 o'clock crew. Shout out to my man Derek Curtis over in 18. You know I used to be the chief of staff in 18.
Yeah.
So it is always important to me to see continuity. It takes a little while to get your feet under yourself, but you know I'm looking forward to all of this stuff happening today. We got a great lineup, but let me do this. Let me say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. Let me say what's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. Annette, how are you feeling this morning?
Historic race for Chicago.
The-
So this is big, and it's really amazing that up to this hour, almost the 11th hour, a lot of people are still undecided.
You know what? That is crazy to me, but I'm gonna tell you, I felt undecided. I still feel like I might pull a funny one inside the voting booth because I'm not exactly sure.
Don't throw the dart.
You know, I'm gonna do the. You know, I might see. I don't. This is a tough one. I'm gonna tell you, I have really been going back and forth with myself. You dang on Wakandans here in WVON be having me believing, but you know what? It's like my Wakanda. Every time my Wakanda senses come on, my political counterbalance comes on, and it's like it feels so good to be a Wakandan. But at the end of the day, man, the Wakandans always seem to be left bloody on the battlefield.
You have 6 people to choose from.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Right?
That is the problem right there. That you got 6 people to choose from, and that there are so many. 6.
Sit down, though, Maze. I
Did-
did.
what?
Really happy about my choice.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear what your process of elimination is, because I'm going to ask you, because everybody's getting in on this today. Nobody gets a free pass. Everybody, this is an election day special. We got people calling all over from everywhere. We might even get some international perspective today on how this goes. All right, now I got to say what's up to Sonia Escobar. She is the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Sonia, how you feeling this election day?
Oh, it's the final countdown. I'm so excited.
It's the final countdown. I should have said yesterday, it's almost the final countdown.
This is really the final countdown.
This is really the final countdown. You know what? I can't wait to talk about it. All right, now I got to say what's up to my super producer in the studio, Miss Sonia Tompkins. That's Black Sonia. So I got Brown Sonia, Black Sonia. And you know what? We have our international, don't forget, we got an international superstar in the building. She is mediating with us. She's our media understudy, but you know she got TV shows and YouTube channels, and she's
Yeah,
worldwide.
she's
She's gonna have us
80,000 things she's doing at one time.
80,000. But you know what? She is a superstar there, and she is coming to sit in with her. So sit in with us, and she's actually gonna be on the air with us tomorrow. It is Sophia Anjam. Is it Anjam? I don't know how to say it. Go to the mic and say it right. Did I say it right? Make sure you say it right.
Absolutely. It is Sophia Anjum, yeah.
All right, I got it. All right, now look. This is the international election. She is here as our international observer, right? You know how when there's elections all around the world and they have to send the observers in to make sure things ain't funny?
Yeah.
So Sophia is here checking it out too to make sure that we keep this thing straight. Because I'm going to tell y'all, I got a funny feeling we're going to see the Chicago way in full play 2019 version. And I don't think that everybody's ready. Okay, it is the WVON Morning Show. Let's get this thing up 50,000 feet. Let's get the souls playing in the air. And while we're in the air, hey, Todd, did you see your man, R. Kelly? He got out yesterday.
Whoa, got some money, huh?
Man, he obviously didn't get too much. Because he got out. The first thing when I get out of... Well, let me stop.
Maybe you had to find the hole in the backyard. He kept on digging it, or somebody was digging. They couldn't find it. They're like...
The hole in the backyard? Todd, what are you talking about? As in a
everybody
stash?
like to put their money in the bank.
Right.
Shout out to McDonald's for having affordable menu.
Right. Went to McDonald's for the affordable menu.
Oh, that's right.
But do you think he got ate off the dollar menu? I wanted to get the Big Mac with bacon.
Look,
You know how you right
he
now...
got out of this, so he probably got from the dollar menu because he probably didn't have much money left.
I'm going to tell you what, Todd. I know how it feels, though, to want some McDonald's like that. I remember when I went to Zimbabwe, and I was there for like a week and a half, and I never forget getting off the plane in Amsterdam and seeing a McDonald's, and it felt like, you know how you would see them people in the desert?
You remember the movie with Sinbad when he was pretending to be a vegetarian?
Uh-uh.
No, you didn't see that one?
Uh-uh.
House guest, him and Phil Hartman.
Okay.
He was pretending to be a vegetarian, so they're feeding them all this soy and all that kind of stuff. And then he gets away from him and he sees McDonald's and he just starts running, that slow motion thing, like, oh my Lord, thank you.
I would tell you. Well, he got some McDonald's when he got out. I ain't gonna even front, because I could see one. Sometimes, like, if you've ever been locked up for any amount of time, you really realize and you appreciate food. Like, you appreciate the food options and everything else. Because when they come, let me tell you, when they hit you with that sandwich and it's dry, man, you be like, for real.
And just like you said, in a foreign country, my wife went to Ireland. She did the same thing. She ate some of that stuff. She was like, this is, where's the McDonald's?
Well, first of all, she shouldn't have been in Ireland anyway. Look, but we going to stop talking about that. Look, when we come back, man, we got so much to talk about. Because it seems like we had some world travelers yesterday. It looks like we had 2 Chicagoans in New York yesterday, but they had 2 different missions. One went to sell Chicago and one went to sell themselves to New York. I don't know what the heck was going on. We'll talk about that plus much more. It's the WVON Morning Show. Maze Jackson, Todd Stroger, y'all, and we will also commemorate the 7th anniversary of the death of Trayvon Martin. It seems like it was just yesterday that the movement began. It's Talk Chicago, 1690. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
It's cool.
I'm heading out.
All right, y'all, take a moment. Share the broadcast. Even though it's not the strongest, believe it or not, Vienna goes all the way to Evanston, but that AM signal is strong. Don't go that far. Use internet or Facebook. Thanks, Aaron Foster. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. Take a moment. Share the broadcast. Who is out here? Who's going to vote this morning? If you live in the 18th Ward, vote for Derek Curtis. Can I tell y'all something? It takes... Take a moment, share the broadcast. Share the broadcast, share the broadcast, share the broadcast. All right, let me say what's up to everybody who's out here. What's up, Sharon Troop? What up, Brother Patah? What up, Daryl Stiff? What up? Derek Watson. What up, Christian Pollard? What up, Alonzo Johnson? What, they didn't have hamburgers in Ireland? Let me tell you. I never forget when I went to Zimbabwe. So, like, first of all, I was scared at first, right? So at first you go, you be like, man, I'm not eating nothing. So, but we were like guests of the president. So it was like, well, we were. So, man, I remember they was like, Zimbabwe beef is the best beef in the world. So, you know, you all set for a steak and everything. Man, they put that piece of meat down on the plate. You get the cut and you like. Then you take that bite and you be like, what kind of steak is this? Then I remember he was like, man, we pulled up. I was like, man. We pulled up to the general's house. I was like, look at that cow. You like cow? Boom. Man, we was eating that sucker within like 4 hours. It was not good.
Yeah.
Then I never forget, I was sitting there. I can't even tell y'all some of the stories. But man. All right, what's up, Alonzo Johnson? What up, Val Free? What up, Hassan? What up, Mark Allen? What up, Tiger Lily? What up, Nanette? What up, Denise? What up, John Rembert? What up? I think you're right, Alonzo. I do not think that I am. I think that. So, y'all, I feel like I have a burden placed upon me that is so difficult to deal with. It is. It's like, I really wish I did not like black people. I really do. Some days I really wish I just did not. I really wish that I could do. Man, I feel like sometimes I feel like the Tin Man. I bet that's a good one. So sometimes I feel, I'm gonna use this as a simile. I feel like the Tin Man because at some point during this process, I went away from being heartless in the game to caring about broader outcomes. I think in this time, like right now, if it wasn't for the black people, I would be freaking stupid filthy. I promise you. Do you know, look, like today I would just be sitting somewhere collecting checks. Just like, come on, bring them in. Come on, I would have a bunch of people working. Be the boss. Be the boss. What you say? To be the boss. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting there with me for the rest of the week is former Cook County Board President Todd Stroger. Todd, it is election day. I want to get through all of the business so that we can get into this election day. So check this out. Donald Trump is on his way to Vietnam to meet with Lil' Kim. And in case you do not know, I'm not talking about Lil' Kim from Bad Boy. I'm talking about
Lil' Kim. Who did she have the face surgery? Or is that?
No, you talking about she? No, that wasn't Lil' Kim or Foxy Brown. The Lil' Kim I'm talking about is Kim Jong-il.
Oh, that one.
Kim Jong-il and Donald Trump. You know they got this on again, off again bromance going on. But apparently they are going to. Donald Trump is heading over to meet Kim Jong-il to make sure that this thing doesn't go awry, because I think Donald Trump is lining up his ducks to start lining up his campaign. You know, he's setting himself up to be able to say, this is what I did, etc. Right. So I think he's going to just go button that up, get some good photo ops, and come back. How about this one? Did you see that both J.B. Pritzker and Amara Enya were in New York yesterday?
Amara Enya was in New York?
Amara Enya was in New York, and Eddie Johnson was in New York. So let's start here.
Yeah, I saw Eddie. Let's
start with Eddie Johnson in New York. Do we have any audio from that? From Eddie Johnson in New York? I think we'll have some audio from Eddie Johnson in New York. We'll do it at 7. All right, we'll come back to that. So Eddie Johnson in New York, Amara Enya in New York. You know, I can see Eddie Johnson in New York. I'm tired. I feel some kind of way about a mayoral candidate in the city of Chicago going to New York the day before the election.
Or not being in the city of Chicago.
Not being in the city of Chicago.
Right.
And that is disconcerting to me on a number of levels. First of all, skip New York. Like I feel like we ain't the second city, we the first city.
Amen.
So I feel like even Gary McCarthy knows, don't go to New York to talk to Chicago.
Right.
At least in my estimation. Now, maybe in this new millennial world, that's how it works. But if I am a Chicago voter and you are talking about me to New Yorkers as you are asking me to elect you, I got an issue. And I know that the world says this is the most corrupt city in the world. In the city of whatever. But I feel like that's a narrative. Because they said since 1979, they've had, like, who picked 1979? Right? They were like, okay, well, we want to make it Chicago. Move it back 2 more years.
Well, I can tell you maybe one reason is because we had Greylord, and so Greylord probably is 50% of the prosecution. So that's how it's easier to say that kind of stuff. So many people went to jail.
Man, so you know what? I took umbrage with that. Like, I think if I had a decision to make, like I'm telling you, I'm not tripping out at all. I'm not gonna be bogus. But that to me was almost like saying a Chicagoan being in New York and saying, you know what? New York's pizza is better than Chicago.
Don't even start that.
No, I'm saying, and then you were, huh? I'm like, it took a lot. Look, and I can't even say nothing. I really want to talk about the whole conversation. But let me just suffice to say that when I watched it, I think I kept my mouth open like, I don't believe this is happening.
Well, don't you think that one of the problems that the young people have as they try to do things is they want to dismiss the older experience and say, well, that must not have worked because, we're not living in La La Land. We're still living in whatever. So they don't want to do what has been tried and true and has pretty much helped people be elected throughout, the century or last century.
Yeah, I always feel like the Wakandans want to practice new weapons. Like, they be like, let's try out these clay weapons. Like, we've moved to they be like, we're in the technology age. No, they'll be like, we'll use our smartphones. Okay, and we be like, and the regular party be like, we'll use our guns. Right? We're going to defeat the machine with we'll defeat the machines with technology. Meanwhile, we be like, how about you just get a wrench? Yeah. Right? Just get a wrench. Right? Like, it would be too much like right to knock on doors, right? And the millennial, you know what the other problem is? You know what that was to me? That is symptomatic of millennials. My kids will text me in the house.
Exactly.
So you went to New York to talk to people who you live right next door to?
Right.
Come on, man. I'm sorry. Okay, let me stop. Because you know what? at the end of this election, and we're going to talk about this at 8:30, we're going to see how the millennials did. Not in a snarky way, but what are the best learnings? I want to look at tomorrow, who were the millennial candidates for alderman and mayor, and see what those outcomes are. And then compare the tactics that they may have used. And then I want to compare that to people who may have come up in a political party, who are young, who voted, who ran a campaign, and see how they came. I just think, I fundamentally think that you cannot talk to the millennials right now because they know everything. And I think that...
They're still full of themselves?
Man, it's like, Todd, I see the same things. You know what? It's the same things that 10 years ago when we were running elections and you would see these guys and they would come up and you'd be like, oh, yeah, we got them. Yeah, you'd be like, they got all the signs. They bought all the billboards. Right. And they never talked to a person or where. We gotta get this thing on the same page. We gotta get our young people and make sure that it's a win-win situation. Because I want to see them successful because it's important to our future. It's the Talk of Chicago 1690. When we come back, Donald Trump told J.B. Pritzker, I'll help you. Illinois is easy. I'll help you. We're going to ask the social... I wait till I ask this social media question of the day. We'll be back after traffic news and the weather.
Rich people like rich people.
Huh?
Rich people like rich people. Do you remember when Charles Barkley said, I like rich people. I like hanging around rich people. I'm rich. That was a long time ago. He's kind of changed his tune a little bit. I mean, he still like rich people, but he doesn't talk that I want to be a Republican anymore.
Man. All right. We gotta tell Sonya she's got to keep the list. We're taking everybody's predictions today.
That's right, predictions.
Okay, so the predictions are mayor's race. All right, here we go, y'all. The predictions, you got to go to my Facebook page. I already have a post, but Lions Den. I want y'all to go put y'all predictions in because whoever has the closest prediction will win a t-shirt, right? So, matter of fact, they'll win. I got 5. The top 5 winners will get t-shirts. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to my Facebook page, not the Maze Jackson fan page, but the personal page. And there is a post, and it talks about what your predictions are for today. So here's the game. Predictions are who will be in the runoff for mayor. What your prediction is for the treasurer's race. Will there be a runoff or will one of the candidates win? And then who are you voting for your alderman, right? And then the tiebreaker is what is the percentage that you have to get? What do you think the percentage is that will allow you to get the top 2 into the runoff? All right? So I'm saying right now, I think it's okay. So my practical sense says that it's a Daley Preckwinkle runoff. I think that my sleeper is Willie Wilson, but I also think that I don't know how much credence to put into this Lori Lightfoot thing. So I'm going to put both of those as because I don't think anybody can really tell you for sure. So I'm saying that's my if I had to put money on it, I would say Preckwinkle Daley because I think Daley with the sense of inevitability and Preckwinkle, even though she's falling, I don't know if she fell at a fast enough rate to get to fall out of the runoff. Okay. I think there will be a runoff in the treasurer's race between Melissa Conyers-Irvin and Amaya Pawar. Do you think that Burke will be reelected? Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to say no. But it would not surprise me if he walks in that mud again, kiss my grits. I'm hoping for Andre Smith in 20 to make the runoff. I'm looking for Derek Curtis in 18. I'm looking for Alderman Walter Burnett to have the highest plurality of the aldermen with competition. I'm going to tell you now, with the exception of probably Will Calloway, I'm pro. Oh, and Ebony Lucas. I'm pro and Pat Dow. So I would love to see Alexandria Willis. I would love to see Ebony Lucas. And I would love to see Will Calloway. Of those, I think the person with the best chance is Ebony Lucas, because she ran before, but I think that the fourth ward is still pretty strong organizationally.
For whatever reason, I can't pull up the black aldermanic or alderman wards and everyone who's running.
You could just go to Chicago. You can't just go to Chicago Board of Elections.
I did that, and I sent you what I found.
Okay.
It's a long freaking list.
Okay.
You know, but it's like I can't decide.
In a perfect world for me, I would wake up and Mendoza, Preckwinkle, and Lightfoot would all be distant memories. That's what ideally I would love to see. Like, I don't want to see I don't believe with the map coming up that I feel like having goody two-shoes people in this situation who believe in black people who want to be fair with a map coming up means that we're going to lose.
Right. It's fair to everybody but us.
It will be fair to everyone but us, right. And they will, like, I fundamentally, like, so I like Preston, right? But I fundamentally believe that you need Carrie Austin right now going into a remap situation. I just do. I mean, she has seniority and she will have sharp elbows. Yes. I think you need a Walter Burnett. I mean, I think if the new mayor does not honor seniority, black folks are screwed. Like, we are now in a spot where seniority is going to really make a difference as they wipe out Burke and all of those type of people.
Yeah,
like,
but the ball is really in the alderman's court.
Right.
There's not enough of these new guys who would say, we'll do whatever you want. The old guys can say, we're sticking together. Get you.
Right. But I could see goofy aldermen that are there now. Like, I could see goofy aldermen being like, I'm going to go with this reform, like the progressives.
Oh, yeah.
I could see black aldermen who think they progressives. Come on. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, and my man, Todd Stroger, is in the building. Look, Todd, we talking politics all day. I'm going all over the place. Hey, so look, I got a script, but I might get off of it every once in a while. Let me tell you something. Do y'all remember the social media question of the day yesterday, and we were saying white folks be all up in black folks' business all the time? Well, just in just an example of that, I don't know if you saw the cartoonist in the San Diego Union Tribune, famous cartoonist Steve Brin decided that he was going to make an addition to the famous list of the most famous African-American storytellers in the country's history. Guess who he added?
You're going to have to tell me.
Jussie Smollett.
What?
Now, it was funny, but it was like, white boy, come on, man. You don't get to do that. All right, y'all. Okay, and I just, help me out, y'all. Just real quick. The whole New York thing. I just don't get it. Tim, you want to talk to Chicago? Well, I don't understand the whole going to New York to talk to Chicagoans. What am I missing, my brother?
The Daily Blueprint.
You know what I'm saying? She just bowed away from the table. This is the way Daley, he put all this mixture in there to siphon all the votes. Daley's about to walk through there handily. People are just starting to go on with their life. She knew she didn't have a chance to win. None of these people did. All they did was siphon votes from each other to siphon votes. That's the Daley blueprint. The Daleys are back in office. People are starting to get on with their day. She probably had business in New York that was pressing, and she just jumped on a TV channel because somebody said, hey, aren't you running for mayor? And she just said something. These people jumped in a race knowing they were only going to do one thing, split the vote so one candidate could get back in office. And that's the Daleys. Welcome back, Daleys.
Dang. Welcome back.
I'm not much of an Oliver Stone conspiracy type of guy. So with that many candidates, everybody thinks that they're the king. And, you know, until, like you say, until they get mollywopped.
I'm going to tell y'all what. I'm going to say this. I'm gonna take a page out of my man Double J's book. I'm going to say the bottom tier candidates, they don't get 10 points total.
No.
I don't think that the bottom tier candidates get 10 points total. And I don't know where that's at. But look, let me move on to the social media question of the day. Hey, yesterday, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker was singled out as one of the 22 new governors that President Trump said he wanted to help and work with. He said to J.B. straight up, I'll help you out. He also said Illinois is easy. He must have been talking about his property tax. His property taxes. But Pritzker, who was a vocal critic of President Trump, did say he would work with the executive branch. Now, you know that's going to offend all the white ladies and all the white liberals. They're going to be like, oh, resist. Resist, I say. So, social media question of the day is, what should J.B. Pritzker work with President Trump for to get for black people? Because I know, you know what you got to find Mama D, because Mama D say she want the wall. Now, I'm going to ask you. So, now what she say?
I want the wall. I want the wall. I want the wall. Thank you.
So, now, clearly, Mama D and the WVON family is not turning down we ain't turning down none of because I'm not turning down nothing but my column.
Right.
So, Black Chicago, give me a call, 773-591-1690. What should J.B. Pritzker work with President Trump to get for black people? Because you know the white folks, they going to be mad talking about resist. I ain't resisting nothing. Give me mine. We'll be back after traffic and the weather. Wait, no? Oh, it's 42.
I love when you talk, man. You talk.
42. So give me a call, 773-591-1690. Ty,
yes,
what should we get from... look, y'all, I got to get some new glasses. Ty, what should we get? What should black people tell J.B. Pritzker we want from Donald Trump?
You know, Maze, we want some kind of plan. I don't care if it's like funding a bank, something where we can go to and get capital to start businesses, expand businesses. If we're not employing people ourselves, then we're not going to be employed.
So I'm going to say like this. This is what I'm going to say. Donald Trump should work with President J.B. Pritzker. No, President Trump should work with J.B. Pritzker to help us create a economic fund that will allow us to buy back all of the corner stores in our neighborhoods.
That'd be nice.
Right? So here's what I suggest. I suggest that in conjunction with Homeland Security, J.B. Pritzker suggests to President Trump that we create a fund that allows small black business owners the opportunity to train, be salaried through the training to open and operate the corner stores on their blocks. And then what I'd like to see J.B. Pritzker work with the president to do is to create a program to buy back the block. You know, I was talking to Willie Fleming one time. You know, JR. JR does all the eviction stuff. But what if instead of paying for vouchers for people for 50 years at $2,000 a month or whatever they pay, we start giving people back these foreclosed homes. And instead of you being on public aid, we use that money to give you the home, give you the money to fix it and maintain it and get it up to code, as well as put in a training program that teaches you over the course of 5 years that if you maintain this home and do it right, it's yours to keep. I just think that you gotta go.
I don't know. I have to think about that.
I think that you've got to come with a tangible program to the president. I don't think we can say, hey, Mr. President, solve the black people problems. I think the reason that Kim Kardashian always gets something is because she knows exactly what to ask for.
No,
so,
you're right.
so I think, we keep talking about this affordable housing crisis in Chicago, but we've got these opportunity zones. Man, can we work with J.B. Pritzker and Trump to maximize these opportunity zones and use the opportunity zones to buy the businesses in the black community? I'm suggesting that while everyone is putting their hands over their ears and saying no, 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 because J.B. said, my job as the governor is to work with the president.
Yeah, not fight.
Right. And
Something to fight over.
And I'm going to tell you, because I think she might be listening. Dorothy Tillman said, mate, I want to tell you, most of everything we ever got from for black folks came from Republicans. Now, I always say that you go where the black people are not. Because that's where the resources are. Mm-hmm. If the black people are there, all the giveaways, all the free stuff is where the black people, and all the vultures are on top of that. You say you got free cheese, we over there. Hey man, we got this banking and finance. Oh, you can have that. Give us our dang on cheese. And so I guess this goes back to, what do we want as black people?
Aha! There's the question. What do we want? What is tangible? What can work that will help spread wealth throughout our community? Because everything we talk about is only really about money. But without money, you are always in the back of the boat, and sometimes you are actually pushed out of it.
I want funding to buy me a backhoe. I want funding to buy me a bulldozer. I want funding to buy, because I want to build some wall.
Yes.
I mean, I'm saying if it's going to be a wall built, I want a bricklayer training program that starts and a pipeline for people who don't have a job to be able, just like people leaving here going to work on the pipeline. I want people to be leaving here. You know how people leave here to go work on the pipeline? They leave. There's these people, they leave.
Yes.
And then they come back with just big pockets full of money because they've been out on an oil rig.
They don't have to pay taxes. There's all kind of stuff that happens when you leave and the government wants a project.
And so,
but I also know that there are people who have these industries that we're not in, who say, well, we won't get in your way if you can start your own business. But as you just said, to start your business, you gotta be able to buy a tractor and a backhoe and all this other equipment, and that ain't cheap.
So look, we'll talk about it, y'all. Give us a call, 773-591-1690. Donald Trump said he will work with Governor J.B. Pritzker. We know that the white liberals and white women gonna be out of their minds. So what do black people want? What can we get out of the president? Tell JB we want. Give us a call, 773-591-1690.
More of the morning show.
What up, people? Y'all ready? Okay, let me get some shout outs. Let me say some what's up. What up, Carl Brown? Y'all give me a call, 773-591-1690. What up, Yashika? What up, Patah? What up, Tiger? What up, Carlton? What up, Laverne? What up, Liz Vincent? What up, Dr. Darlene? What up, Christian Pollard? What up, Demetrius Thomas? What up, Tamiko? What up, Liz? What up, Nico Uno? What up? I'm saying, could JB go to the president and say, we want to have a reparations program for Illinois residents who are descendants of slaves? How bad would that be? Please, Mr. What if he said, President Trump, I would like $5 billion for black descendants of slaves in Illinois reparations. And if you live in Illinois, to attract, what if we went to get money to attract people back, black people back to Illinois? Like an incentive program to recruit, bring black folks that have left here back to reverse the Great Migration? Am I crazy? See, I'm just saying, you gotta have something tangible. And then it's like, well, what if he worked with President Trump to create a property tax relief program for the Southland? And said, we have $1 billion to help repair the tax base in the Southland and then spur and incentivize development there. Y'all don't want to do nothing. What up, Anita? What up, Annette Word? Where are y'all going when if y'all candidate don't win? What up, Yashika? What up, Tamiko? What up, Hassan? What up? You know, it's funny to me to hear everybody have a justification for why their candidate is the best candidate for the black folks and they didn't have to talk to nobody else. And today, y'all gonna get it all sorted out for you. And then we gonna find out about math today. What's up, y'all? Take a moment and share the broadcast. Golly. What's up, Nico Uno? What up, Yashika? What up, Michelle Flag? What up? What up, Annette Word? What up, Hassan? What up, Diane? What up, Val? What up? I think, Michelle, I was undecided. I think that whole Spike Lee part of the conversation, like, I don't know. I feel like when you go to Chicago and you go to the Breakfast Club, you got to rep Chicago. Not passively. But I guess I just see things differently. But no, I think, I don't know, man. We'll talk about it a little bit later. We'll talk about it later on in the show. Hey, are y'all putting y'all candidates in? I think you vote all incumbents out and you will wind up, you going to vote yourself right up out this city. Just so you know. Because do you think with no incumbents, when they make the remap, you think they going to make some vote? You think they care? You think once you give up your guns, they going to say no more war? They going to say, once you put down your guns, then they going to be like, kill them all. Take as much as you want. Rape their women, take their kids, put them in slaves.
My man and I are through. Sit down the sky. Perfume on the tube. Just be deep in line.
Put it in my... You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Sitting in with me is my man, Todd Stroger, singing background as well. Todd,
that ain't the 70s, that ain't then nothing's the 70s. Man, that makes me feel good.
That makes you feel good. 70s, you know, I'm still waiting for the 80s, man. I'm waiting for the 80s to come back.
That makes me feel good too, actually.
All right, y'all. It's the WVON Morning Show. We are talking social media question of the day. What should J.B. Pritzker work with Trump to get for black people? Because here's my thing. Yeah, in case you did not hear earlier, J.B. Pritzker actually President Trump appointed J.B. Pritzker to the Council of Governors, right? Now, do you think they got the hookup because they billionaires? You think it's the billionaire?
He appointed to the what?
The President's Council of Governors. It's 10 governors across the country that are that advise the president on gubernatorial issues. And J.B. Pritzker got put on. And it's like, here's what I feel like. You know how it's like, this is what I feel like this is. This is like, you know how you see your friend and you ain't supposed to be friends and your mom know you ain't supposed to be hanging out with them people, but you actually hang out with them people. But when y'all see each other at the club, or not at the club, when y'all see each other like walking down the street, you trying to play it off like you don't know him.
Right.
But he be like, hey, dog, what's up, man? It was good seeing you last night. Mom, I went to church. No, man, I saw you at the Playboy Mansion. I feel like the billionaires. Like, the billionaires be playing us all like suckers. Okay, you be a Democrat, and I'll be a Republican. But when we go to the club, because can't nobody but billionaires afford it, it's only like 200 of y'all, 300 of y'all.
Right.
So I'm just saying, don't act like y'all don't know each other.
Well, you know, this gives J.B., the Governor Pritzker, a chance to say that, well, we push this towards the president. And it could be all his progressive ideas he wants. Now, if the president takes them, who knows? But he has a platform from now on to say, this is what we tried to get him to do.
I think he's going to thwart. I think he knows JB is going to run for president. And so I think it's like putting a big old greasy hug and leaving a stain on your suit, right? Like it's like a girl hugging you with makeup on her face that's like the kind that's gonna be stuck on your suit and everything, like, and it's like, right, go. What is that? Look, I'm sorry, I wasn't me. And JB like, no, look, JB was like, I mean, yeah. And so check this out. They were saying in the Sun Times that JB's the Pritzkers actually gave Donald Trump the money to make his first big play, make him a player. He was part of the deal to do the Hyatt in New York, and Donald Trump was in that deal, and that is the deal that made him break through and become a bazillionaire, a millionaire, a billionaire. But apparently Donald Trump wound up suing them.
That's because Donald Trump does not appear to be the greatest businessman in the world.
Well, you know what?
He's just rich.
You know what? So I tell you what, I take that. Shoot, you know what?
No. What you would take, Maze, is you would take your father building buildings outside of downtown Chicago 60 years ago and giving them to you.
Okay, well, I would like to do that for my son.
Great. When you were 3.
I would love to do that to my son. He's not 3, so I'm working on that. I mean, I'm just saying, like, So he was a millionaire by the time he was like 8 or something. The thing you know what? That's like to me, that's what you call a good problem to have. That is what you have a good. You know what? You ain't no good millionaire. You were a millionaire when you were 8. You don't deserve any of that.
That's forward thinking. That's what I
Look, let me go to the phone lines. Robert, sorry. Robert, you want to talk Chicago? Yes, I can.
Okay. I wanted to say that AB should get some help on the inner city with some of the programs for the black youth and, for the schools, because we got a lot of crime going on here, Maze, and we really do need some help. And I think that our former mayor kind of did some missteps and really didn't, secure some things and everything for what we really needed for the inner city. Because if you don't give them an opportunity, people are going to do whatever they want to do.
I agree with you, Robert. I do think that we need some programs for the inner city. You know what I think, though? I think we got to really start thinking about what are more than just a program. I think we got to start thinking about what do we do to fix our community. Could we create a multi-billion-dollar tax rescue fund for the Southland that would help put back the value in some of those homes that were depleted? I just think we got to think a little bit bigger than a short term. We got to get some long-term fixes. But Robert, I appreciate your call. Let's talk Chicago. We'll be back after traffic news and the weather.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation.
See, but you see, that's our instinct. See how he said, man, I think we need a program for the understudies, for the kids at the what? I feel like what we need is an economic infusion of capital to make our places to abate the tax. Like right now, all of the Southland could potentially be rebuilt if the tax base wasn't completely reliant on property taxes. If you could,
Amazon could fall into Harvey right now. To be honest with you, they got enough space. They got everything. They're right off the expressway. They got everything under the sun that would transform a place like Harvey. But that's not going to happen because Harvey's, poor as dirt.
And so think about somebody saying,
Maybe
okay,
not quite that poor.
huh?
Maybe not quite that poor.
But poor.
But poor.
Keith Price, shout out. That's why y'all need to elect Keith Price. But think about if you could. Think about if those people in the south suburbs who are paying more for their homes in property taxes than they are their mortgage. Imagine if you could infuse enough capital that would raise those housing rates, to balance out so that the people aren't getting killed by their property taxes, and you also make it an incentive for businesses to relocate there. Then you and then you invest infrastructure there. So you say, here's what we want to do. We want to rebuild the infrastructure above and below ground in the Southland. We want to rebuild it. Part of this specific capital plan. Now, if you're going to have job training and you make those, either you got to figure out, and y'all don't know how the union stuff, but you got to figure out how you make it where the people that move into these areas are also but have the opportunity to work on the rebuilding of the infrastructure of those towns. So now
that's part of the federal program. Certain projects, I'm not sure.
Proximity.
Yeah, there's a percentage of people from the area that have to be employed, or when they say have to, I'm not sure if it actually happens, but that's the way it's supposed to work.
So imagine if you said move to Southland, and when you move to the Southland, we got all of these foreclosed homes in Harvey. So here's the incentive package. You get a crib in one of these identified areas that at a drastically reduced rate, or you can transfer your voucher into home ownership. The infrastructure projects that are there in that town, because you've got this investment in rebuilding all of these places, and I'm talking about the roads, the underground, the whole streets, the whole thing. The people those jobs are specifically advertised to the people. So when you move there, it's almost like you're moving with a package. Like you move to Harvey, when you sign up for the program, you get the crib, you get the job, you get the training, you get whatever to get you ready to participate in the Harvey Public Works program. Now, as you're participating in now you got a job. But you've also built this community, so you ain't trying to have everybody tearing it up. And instead of you going to Harvey and sitting in the crib and then looking out the window and saying, ooh, I could open up out here, you say, man, so everybody is leaving out in the morning with a construction hat and some boots, and they're at different phases of the program. But now I'm telling my cousin, man, come on out here. And it's like you're not recruiting to come out here because they don't have anything to do. It's like, man, you get a job. And now people, because once you get a person past 25, 26 out of the bullshit, if they get a job and start making money and get a family, they ain't gonna try and be in the bull. It's like you got to get people past that 18 to 25 hump. Like after 25, you ain't really trying to live the life if you've had a job. And if you get a job somewhere in there and you start making money, you pull up out that. Even if you still say what's up to the guys, even if you still hang out, you be like, man, I gotta go home, I gotta go to work. You know, do you know how many dudes, But again, what we gonna say when we go to Trump? What we gonna talk about? Well, somebody gonna get something. They gonna put some of that money in the Capitol bill, and y'all Negroes people gonna be getting rich again. They gonna be getting rich.
All right. Yeah, rich.
They gonna be getting rich.
But you know, part of our problem is we have to be prepared for this kind of stuff.
But I'm saying that's the whole point. Like, so when you say be prepared, my premise is you take those people and you're making them prepared, because the job, like my thing is, the job is not about, hold on. So you move because you heard about the program. Everybody say they want a job. Everybody say they want a job, but they don't. They really just want a check. But you are bringing people out there, and once you move out there, they have it's almost like a truance officer. Like, yo, dog, you work, you get the job. Now you may learn people don't start businesses until they've worked at something. Like, people don't just, like, it's people will call up and they'll have great ideas for businesses, but most often the entrepreneurs are people who have worked in an industry, who learned that industry, saw how they made money, and said, oh, I can do this by myself.
Right.
It's not, people don't just start up with a business and it works, because most times, I don't know if you haven't learned how to manage payroll, if you haven't, like, a business sounds great until payday comes and you ain't just and the check ain't there.
You're right.
Right? And the money is waiting. So I just think you got to get them.
And people aren't willing to pay for that professionalism.
Right.
Or they may not even be able to.
Right.
Yeah.
So, hey, did I tell y'all Monster Jam is this weekend too? Monster Jam.
Is that with big trucks?
Yep. Don't forget Monster Jam Triple Threat this weekend at the Allstate Arena. Hey, did y'all see I did a Negrotific poll yesterday? And guess what? In the Negrotific poll, if you had to pick one with 292 votes, Lori Lightfoot 77%, Tony Preckwinkle 23%.
That dynamic is really interesting to me.
I'm telling you, they're transferable.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with you now. But I didn't think black people really cared about Lori Lightfoot.
I don't think black people do. I mean, if you got to pick between one of them two. My point was, man, you know what I saw yesterday? There was, and just another example of political, like why we need to teach people. I saw one of Tony's top operatives saying he voted for an alderman that wasn't where he lived.
What?
Right. And then was like, well, I changed my registration. So basically you're voting provisionally or you're voting illegally. It's like, it's so much stuff that you could just poke holes in. And I just feel like at the end of this campaign cycle, we just need to start pulling everybody back in, because I think they have turned, I feel like they have turned so many people loose on the streets and made them these people, and they have not learned. Oh my God! Okay, we are having a class. Tony ain't splitting no black vote, because ain't nobody black voting for Tony except for 4th Ward. So, Maida!
Oh, New York.
You're in New York, New York, New York. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 16, the Talk of Chicago. That's right, the Talk of Chicago.
Hey, isn't that your boy, son?
Who?
Jay-Z?
Yeah, man, that's my guy. But even when Jay-Z coming,
It's a song I actually know and like.
I'm gonna tell you what, and even when, let me tell you what, when election day in Chicago today, I I don't care, and you ain't gonna never even hear me say, I don't care what Jay-Z got to say about New York when it comes to the mayor's race.
Amen.
Now look, let me tell y'all what. Let me y'all done got me hyped up already. Let me do this first. Let me say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. I'm Maze Jackson. And sitting across from me is former Cook County Board President Todd Stroger. Gotta say what's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar, the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Now let me just say this. Todd, I have, you know what? I admit that I am no longer spring chicken. I admit that I am.
Stand up again after you've been down.
I am no longer. I would say that my knife is not as sharp as it used to be politically, right? Like I used to be an assassin, and I would bleed you out and kill you and do whatever. But I still feel like I got some sense of what's going on, and I heard the buzz yesterday about one of our mayoral candidates going to New York. Now, when I first heard we had a mayoral the mayor was in New York, I was thinking it was Rahm Emanuel going with Eddie Johnson to talk about Good Morning America. Hey, Sonia, do we have any clips from Eddie Johnson talking about Chicago and Good Morning America? Let's go to Eddie Johnson's audio.
Your press conference, sir, was so passionate, and it seemed quite personal, the words that you were talking about.
Yeah, you know, Robin, I grew up in the tail end of the civil rights era, and I lived in Cabrini Green Housing Project, you know, when I was a kid. And
Do you have me
characterized
from
as one of the most notorious
get my clip too
projects in the country.
On
and
Jussie Smollett,
news is very
and this is a race issue.
The city of Chicago
LGBT, not race.
Issues. The Chicago Police Department has its issues with racism and excessive force and all of that. And I'm acutely aware of that. But we didn't earn this particular incident. And I just refuse to let us have to take that shot. So I just want people to understand that's a damaging thing to do to a city and to a police department. You know, so it's my responsibility to ensure that the record gets set straight.
Now, I know y'all are not, I know WVON family, y'all be giving my man Eddie Johnson a hard time. I know y'all do. But I just feel like this. I feel like I take offense, I really took offense to the Jussie Smollett situation because I really do feel like it was a besmirchment of Chicago. Like, regardless of whatever happened with all the other stuff, I do feel like the way this thing played out, I felt like it was like, ooh, we could take advantage of the perception of Chicago. Am I crazy for feeling some kind of way when the national media is trying to put us on it? Like, I give us the racism and all that, but the MAGA stuff and the gay bashing and all that, not that it never happens, but I felt like he was really taking advantage of us. What do you think about that, Todd?
Are you talking about Eddie Johnson?
No, I'm talking about Jussie and why Eddie was responding the way so strongly that he did.
Right, yeah. No, yeah. You know, I did hear some people criticize him about going to New York and having to make this big speech, but it is a big stage. I mean, you know, it's, what was that show? This is Today's show?
Good Morning America, man.
Good Morning America, Today, hey man, whatever. But it is a big stage. So, yeah, you know, the city has taken you know, a couple of body blows because of this kind of craziness that's going on. And yeah, I mean, and people have been beating up on the police department for putting resources on it. But the way this works is, if you haven't found something in 48 hours, you probably ain't gonna find nothing. And statistically, that's how it works. That's why the police kind of pull back from things. So they put a lot of effort in the first 48 hours to find some evidence, and they felt like they had it, and things went on. So I don't have any problem with him defending his department and the city itself.
And I think he did acknowledge the racism and all the other stuff that was there. So I think, you know, I think he's sensitive. I think he hears what is said. But I guess you put it in perspective that it is a big stage. And so at the same time, yesterday in New York City, mayoral candidate Amara Enya was in New York on The Breakfast Club. We got some clips of what she had to say. Why don't you run what she got for me, Sonia?
And speaking of the corruption, I saw there was a televised debate, and they weren't putting you on that debate. And,
Yes.
And which really does hurt, because that's a
does.
huge platform.
Yes. It's, I mean, this culture of corruption and trying to silence the voices of those who are not tied into the machine. That's a big thing in Chicago. And it's what we're pushing against. We have so much enthusiasm for this campaign because people are saying enough is enough. They are tired of the status quo. It doesn't work. And the way that you know it doesn't work is to look around. And so our campaign is all about a specific vision that's inclusive. We talk about equity. We talk about justice. And we use our experiences to lift up Chicagoans. So this isn't about one person getting a job on the 5th floor to perpetuate the status quo. This is about radical change in city government. And we know that it's possible because we have a blueprint. We had Harold Washington 35 years ago. And across the country, you're seeing insurgent candidates are upsetting incumbents. This is happening across the country. And that same sentiment exists in Chicago. So for us, it is the kind of visionary leadership that has the right kind of experience, that is people-powered. So we represent the people of Chicago, not special interests. And that we're inclusive and we're equitable, and it's a positive vision that's not just the same thing that we've been hearing year after year. That's what's excited people about our campaign. And it's why we still have a large percentage of undecided voters.
So, I told y'all before, I love me some Amara. I don't know if telling that, I feel like she went to New York and tried to tell on us. I do. They won't let me in the debate. I mean, they're calling us corrupt. They was calling us the corrupt city. Do we got the Spike Lee part? Because play the Spike Lee part.
Did you congratulate Spike Lee last night for the Oscar? Because I know Chicago people don't really love Spike Lee with the whole Chirac thing. Did you congratulate him?
Stop that right there.
Kudos. Now, I'm still a little, I'm salty.
Hold on, stop. Y'all got to understand what that was. Do y'all understand what that was?
Shade?
That was beyond shade. They was like, hold on, before we continue this interview, did you congratulate Spike Lee? What Spike Lee got to do with any of our, you know why? Because do y'all remember Spike Lee on the sidelines talking about Chicago? Do you remember him talking, Mike and Scotty and everybody? Like, there's an ongoing, people still remember that. And I felt like it was like one of those moments where it's like somebody say, you gonna eat your cornbread? Right? I just felt...
Yeah, he gonna eat his cornbread.
I felt like it was like we got punked. I felt like that was a punkin.
See, I feel just the opposite.
Go ahead.
If I was, and I'm certain she said something like this. If I was her, I'd have said, man, Spike Lee is a talented person who happens to be an African American, and I support Spike wholeheartedly.
Unless he plays the Bulls. And then I would have left it at that. You got to represent. Because I'm going to tell you, Todd.
Oh, no, he got to take a beat down if he's pulling for the Knicks.
But he does all the time. And I'm just telling you, Todd. See, here go my thing. Like, that's you. So you can say I congratulate Spike Lee as long as he don't play for the Bulls. You got to represent Shy. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I want from my man. Give us a call, 773-591-1690. We're going to talk about that. Plus, we're going to get into this mayor's race all the way. I want some predictions. WVON family, what you thinking? Call us 773-591-1690. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up.
I just felt told on, y'all.
Ain't nothing a secret anymore.
Hey, Salim, I saw that setup too, but I feel like it was a double setup. I mean, you think about how black people felt about Chirac. Like, besides after Father Flagrant, y'all King told y'all could y'all could like Chirac, so now we like Chirac. But I'm telling you, it's like that was shade to me too. Cause the whole thing, like you gotta be like, man, no, we didn't feel Chirac no kind of way. Period. Say what you want to say. I just think, man, we ain't the second city. And Salim, you prejudiced. Cause you from New York.
That's right.
Look, Salim, you biased on this one, dog. You know you the philosopher. But you know, man. Now, could you imagine, what y'all think would have happened if Gary McCarthy went back to New York and said, what would you say if Gary McCarthy went back to New York and did an interview and was like, yeah, man, I'm running for New York, for mayor of New York, because they so corrupt in Chicago, right? You'd be like, what'd you say? Nigga, go back to New York then.
Right.
You got the camera. Man, what is going on with these people in this heat?
What heat?
You got the camera time.
What heat? I had to put on my hat. Bear down. Jeez. I don't know. That's interesting going to New York, though. But, same way, big stage. But you know what I find with some of these candidates? I always think they're running for the wrong office. And they may want to run for mayor or run for some other local office, but they really want to be on, and their persona is more of a bigger stage. Amara might be a great candidate to be a congressperson. Because she's got that kind of panache, and she knows what's going on. She's definitely studied everything and is able to go out and talk about it. Maybe the kind of office like a mayor, which is more nuts and bolts, maybe that's not really her thing. More probably might be being a legislator. But there's been a lot of people who I've seen run, and like Barack Obama. I mean, even when he ran for Congress, you could tell that his stage was bigger. So being a senator made a lot more sense. And shoot, to be honest, he never really fit our district well anyway, the first district. So sometimes you lose and you win, but you got to see what the path is that works for you. I mean, I love to fight with New York. Unfortunately, we're losing so many people. Shoot, Houston passing us up. Who would think Houston would be bigger than Chicago? Only thing they got is heat. We're moving. They're moving out the furniture, literally. People coming and taking things away, giving out the paper towels and the toilet paper. I think it's going to happen by the end of the week. Maybe next week, be downtown. Taking away my good ride. 5 minutes to get here in a car.
I'm like real mad at these people who be like constantly running off at the lip, you know what I'm saying, man? They be constantly beefing, man, when they should just be chilling. Word, they need to learn to shut up!
In a second, let this play for a minute. Talk too much. You never shut up. You talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. You never shut up. Oh boy, you never shut up. You over there about your kind. No, 9.
Where you are at.
And you talk about that.
I said you took it.
Right back.
Get a Big Mac.
You You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting, you know, hear that in the background is Todd Stroger. Todd, I didn't even know you knew nothing about Run DMC. What you know about Run DMC?
Well, you know, I think at this time when you were probably running around in 6th grade or something, I was an adult.
Did you get you some Run DMC Adidas?
No, I never was an Adidas guy. I'm never going to be.
I was
Converse type of guy.
Converse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't remember the Converse?
I remember
the Cons.
I remember.
With, everybody had Bird had his, Magic had his.
Right. I remember when those came out. I could never get none of those. My parents was like, the only Converse I got was the kind that they used to sell at Kmart with the blue light special, and they used to have the little thing, the little plastic thing that held them together, and if people got to trying them on, you had to go around and find the right two shoes to go together. And I used to be so mad when the blue light would come on and the Converse would come. But I'm going to tell you, you'd go to school and everybody be sitting there with a brand new pair of white Converse with a check and a stop.
And I never had a pair of Lee jeans either.
Oh, I used to have me some Lee jeans and some Wranglers and some. I had all of them. But look,
I like Run DMC. I ain't from New York.
Todd, I'm gonna tell you. I think that this whole New York thing. I think it's a setup. Okay, so I was always concerned that the Enya campaign might not really be for mayor, but it might be for celebrity status or to set up for another run. Like I feel like
that you're gone while you were out. I was talking to the Facebook crowd.
The Lions Den.
I was saying that she is the way she speaks. She sounds more like a congressional candidate than a mayoral candidate.
I think she's trying to sound. Not trying to. Let me not put that in the wrong way. I feel like she's getting close to the Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, like that celebrity politician that's against like all the people. But you know what? Y'all know I be trying to tell y'all, I be telling y'all stuff. And then y'all get mad at me. Y'all want to send me hate mail. Y'all want to get mad, but Sonya, just go back just a little bit.
January 30th?
That's my birthday, just for the record. I said this on January 30th. Go ahead.
Now, if the MAGA people are around here in Chicago, riding around with ski masks, putting their ropes around the necks of superstar celebrities, talking about this is MAGA country, I gotta figure out what do we need to do, what do black people need to do to protect ourselves from the MAGA people? Because, look, I asked the question yesterday, and man, when I said, y'all, could this possibly be a stunt or something? And I probably shouldn't have thought of it as a stunt. I feel like, okay.
You weren't by yourself, though, because I thought the same thing, but I was afraid to say it because you don't want people to feel like you lack empathy. But I talked to one of my friends, and she's one of those, super liberal, let's take care of everybody. And she was like, no, something's off. Not saying he's making it up, but something doesn't, 1 + 1 is not equaling 2.
Well, I don't think we're getting 1 + 1. I think there's some more components to the story. So this is my concern, because you know me. I'm always like, we need to be on alert. If they think about this, think about the gravity of this. If there are MAGA people on the loose in Chicago riding around with ski masks and rope, bleaching people, we need to be on high alert.
I don't think that we need to.
No. Because it couldn't possibly. Because, when I questioned it, it was like they started tagging the police.
When you said?
They started talking, the police. Not the Chicago police, but the other police. Like, they was trying to get me in trouble. Look, I thought they was going to organize a boycott. Because I asked, am I correct? Because you know what this reminds me of?
I've heard several people say something seems off. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so according to my producer, she's saying that they were stalking him. My question is, so the MAGA hit list has Jussie Smollett as the. So my concern is that MAGA is coming to Chicago.
Yeah, right.
Well,
go ahead.
He supposedly had hate mail that he received at Empire at the studio about 8 days ago. And it said, like, man,
That's
So
normal
again,
though for a
But
celebrity.
why did
I mean, I got some hate mail yesterday.
Jay's got hate mail yesterday.
I'm gonna tell
I got
y'all.
hate mail. Rob kept it in my bag because I was.
I'll be trying to tell y'all. Look, I feel like this. Somebody needed to defend Chicago. Somebody needed to defend Chicago. And actually, what I was actually looking for was the clip when I was on BBC. And they said, hey, yo, is this a race problem? And I was like, no, we don't have a race problem. And I feel like with this whole New York thing, whoever goes to New York and talks to New York has to put it down for Chicago. And I did not feel as though any of that interview yesterday represented Chicago. I felt like it was a kind of a kiss butt to New York as compared to dealing with our issues. And this Jussie Smollett, when they asked about it, because Todd, going to New York when you're trying to run for mayor of Chicago is just not, that don't make sense to me.
Maybe earlier in the campaign you go to New York, you get on a show, but while you're there, somebody throws a fundraiser for you.
Right. I'm just telling y'all. Maybe millennials, can y'all teach me? You know what? We're gonna do some predictions today. It's the Talk Chicago 1690. When we come back, hey y'all, Kristen McQuarrie from the Chicago Tribune. She's the political editor there. We'll be talking to her. Plus, we got Mike Flannery coming up as well as the Talk Chicago 1690.
You're running for mayor of Chicago.
Yes.
Now, tell us why people should vote for you.
Live from the WVON.
Like, why should... You got the camera. I think she is trying to be like Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. But I'm concerned that at this point, I don't think she can run for anything again right now. Like, if she doesn't if she doesn't win for mayor, I think she has to sit down and she becomes Doc Walls Part 2.
No, I don't think she would become Doc Walls. I think the only way she becomes Doc Walls and has a continuous history of running is if she ran for mayor again. And to be honest with you, I don't see that as her best chance of becoming into the elected field. I mean, from all accounts, there's going to be some trouble on the west side when it comes to drawing a new congressional district after the census. So we don't know what it's going to look like, but that might be her space. Running for Congress, and as May said, congressmen, their platform, the way they speak, it's more of a rock star type of thing. She might fit in that space. So,
who am I looking for?
We know we've lost black people, and we're almost sure we've lost a district. So maybe D.C. is where she should be, fighting for things with the rest of these young, more what they call progressive legislators, trying to change the world a little bit. My son's even he's on the computer a lot, talking to people about socialism and democratic socialism. He's even inquired with the Democrat Socialists of America. So I can see where that could be more of a fit for Amara. But it's up to her.
What'd you say?
I don't think running for mayor again would make any sense for her.
So what you mean? So you think? So I think you gotta sit.
I think her space is probably going to be running for Congress. I don't think that mayor type of thing where I call the mayor more of a nuts and bolts job. I don't think that's her space. I think hers is more of being a vocal person, like
I agree with
like the lady from New York, but maybe not quite that vocal.
See, I think that's what I'm saying though. I feel like, here's what I think. So here's what I think. I think that I think that the people, I think Amara would be a great Congress person because of policy, right? I really feel like she's more of a policy person than let me deal with the patronage.
So you were correct with the Chicago Tribune.
Okay.
I don't know how I get.
I don't either.
Shit.
I think that and so if this was a way to run for Congress, I think it's unfortunate because it caused a lot of black division, particularly at the lower levels of the ticket.
Yeah.
Like, I think what happened between Amara, LaShawn, Willie is going to have reverberations that will last for years. Not necessarily with the three candidates, but with the people who took it seriously. I think that...
But don't you think that division has always been there?
I think my goal is to get rid of it. And it's like, I think that goal, I feel as though, I feel like a lot of people are, something feels disingenuous. That's just how I feel. Something, and maybe it's just my gut. I feel like, I don't feel like LaShawn. I feel like LaShawn is running for something else too, right? I feel like people are running for something else, and this was a great platform for them. But at the same time, it really freaking damaged what I feel like could have potentially been an opportunity.
But don't you also think that in some ways that these two candidates especially felt like there was a message that needed to be put out there, and that's why they're there, even if it is to further their life maybe in some other space eventually, but they're still saying that we cannot ignore this. Or actually, they may be saying that. I'm not saying that they're actually doing a very good job of getting that message out. But I think that might be the message that they're trying to send.
I get it. I feel like, let me just say this. As a Chicagoan, period, point blank. Period, point blank. And I don't understand, millennial or not. I feel like going to New York, running for mayor, like I'm telling you, like I feel like that's personal almost. I honestly do. And I, as a Chicagoan, I get the whole millennial thing and the Breakfast Club. That show don't come on in Chicago, and I get you on the YouTube and the YouTube following and whatever. So, I mean, that's how I found out about it, and I actually watched it. I personally, Maze Jackson, felt that that was an insult. That on the day before our election for mayor of Chicago, you're sitting in New York. Now, for whatever, and guess what? I'm gonna learn a lesson tonight. Right? I'm gonna learn a lesson about, again, this is a whole new process for me. And so with 14 people in the race, I'm saying that this could truly be unconventional, and it may be work, and I just don't understand it. But as a Chicagoan, that via Bolingbrook, whatever you want to call it, at the point in which we go to Chicago, to New York, on the day before election, I got a problem with that. I just do. And that's not personal. If anybody did that, I would do it. It's like this Chicago, who is our biggest rival in the whole world? It's like going to New York and putting on a Yankees hat.
Oh, no.
Right? Like, that's how I see it. And hell yeah, I got a morning show, so I'm still acting like so, but you are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. And let me tell y'all what's sitting there with me is former Cook County Board President Todd Stroger. Todd, you know what I'm looking forward to this election is I am looking forward to learning. You know what, I am old and stuck in my ways, and so sometimes I don't understand the things that are going on, and I'm looking forward to learning, and I think the millennials are going to show me something tonight that I did not know. But let's do something else. Let's move on very quickly because I want to talk to my girl from the Chicago Tribune. She is with the editorial board. I don't know, was she down in Springfield when you were down there when her nickname was the State House Chick? And now she is the political editor over at the Chicago Tribune.
I don't think I knew that far.
I'll have to go back. We have to go check and see if she wrote any stories about you. But let me tell you what, she has been one of the people that has provided some great insights and a very different perspective as it relates to things that are going on in the political world. WVON family, welcome back. Kristen McQuarrie, editor on the editorial board with the Chicago Tribune. Kristen, how are you?
Thank you so much for playing my song.
You know what, Todd, to get Kristen on now, you know, to go talk to editorial boards and to get editorial board members, they have all these, excuse me, what is the subject, and I call Kristen and I say, can you come on? And she says, yes, but only if you play me PM Dawn as my bumper music. I was like, I think we can make that happen. Kristen, the Chicago mayoral race, 14 candidates, comes down to 2. We got a treasurer's race that I'm not exactly sure how that's going to turn out. Plus, we got some aldermanic surprises. Talk to me about what are you seeing and what do you expect for Election Day? And I know you can't make we're going to take some educated. I'm talking to some of the most astute political people in the world, and I'm going to ask you to give me your best shot at who you think's going to be in the runoff.
All right. So you were spot on in noting that millennials are going to play a big role in the election results tonight, because if you're already looking at early voting returns, the numbers are way up. And that is not your standard voter. That's not me. That's probably not you. It's the young people who got registered last fall and made a big statement nationally and in Chicago. So I think that is a kind of a bad sign for someone like a Toni Preckwinkle. I would not be surprised if she didn't make the runoff. And I know that sounds crazy because she's polling so far ahead. But with these numbers, I think it's going to be better news for some of the down ballot candidates. You might see Susanna Mendoza surge kind of late in the game here. You've already seen Lori Lightfoot surging. So I think Bill Daley will still make the runoff, but I'm just not sure that Toni Preckwinkle will.
Oh, wait. You mean to tell me that there is a potential that the Queen Sugar could potentially not make the runoff? Kristen, how is that possible? She's led the whole time. Every poll had her at the top.
I know, but she's only ahead by a couple of points, and then it's kind of a toss-up after her. And I'm just looking at these numbers and thinking, for the reason that younger voters, I don't think are really inspired necessarily by Toni Preckwinkle, and I think she's going to lose some of that progressive base because of all the Ed Burke stories that have flowed out. And I think she's losing support to Susanna Mendoza, to Bill Daley, and to Lori Lightfoot.
Now, how do you think that Susanna Mendoza is being able to escape this, but Toni Preckwinkle hasn't?
I don't know that she necessarily is escaping it. I mean, her campaign, from my vantage point, has really slumped over the past month. The only reason that I think she's still kind of dog paddling in this race is because she is the younger candidate. She has those kind of snappy commercials of her playing soccer. And if that millennial vote does come out in force, she's going to get a little bit of a bump. But I think the Burke stuff has been very damaging to her campaign.
You know what? So let me ask you. So speaking of Burke, that could be the most even though we have a runoff, I think the most seismic change that could happen could be tonight with the potential of Ed Burke not winning. What do you think is going to happen there?
So he has two opponents, and one is backed by Chewy Garcia. She's very well known locally. She's a soccer coach. She's also an engineer. And so I actually think Burke probably is going to end up in a runoff with her. Her name's Tanya Patino. And I just think there's enough voters out there, especially in a ward where you've had this powerful person who can kind of deliver the goods, where you're going to have a decent number of voters willing to look the other way on this, on the allegations against him, and still vote for him. So I don't think he's going to clear that 50% hurdle, but I think he's going to end up in a runoff. I mean, he's down, but he's not out, Maze.
No, I don't. You can never count Ed Burke out, man. He was giving away like brand new, like I don't know what the gift, but I think his giveaways were like $10 each. I think people were like, was he giving away like backpacks or something? I don't know what it was, but it was great. Hey, so Kristen, talk to me about turnout. One of the things that I think is going to be interesting is to see the realignment of the quote-unquote power wards. For so long, the 19th ward ran away with the election, with being the top vote getter, which they are still doing. But you used to see coming in right after that places like the 8th ward, like the 34th ward, the 18th ward, the 6th ward, 21st. Those were power black wards. Talk to me about what are we seeing with the population shift and turnout, and how that bodes, how well that bodes.
I still think those wards are going to be strong. I think there's going to be a strong turnout in 34, obviously 19. A lot of people are suggesting that there's a possibility Jerry Joyce could kind of squeak and be that surprise candidate because turnout for him in the 19th will be so strong. But I think even with the population shift, even with people leaving the city, you're still going to see big turnout in those wards because all those aldermen are on the ballot, and they're going to have their people driving people to the polls and making sure that their numbers are good. But still, even in Chicago, I mean, it's really pathetic that we can't get a better turnout. We'll probably hit maybe 23% of registered voters, and obviously that number should be a lot higher.
Who do you think tell me what do you think is the biggest, what do you think was the issue that had the biggest impact on this campaign cycle?
Oh, that is such a good question. I'm going to say it's the Ed Burke case, even though I feel that's kind of been a little less sizzle lately. But it really did just kind of take the wind out of the sails of Tony Preckwinkle and Susanna Mendoza and even Gary Chico to an extent. And you just can't get that back. They kind of lost their mojo, and it just really flattened the race and gave some of the lower down ballot names a little boost. So I have to say that, that morning when you had federal agents putting butcher paper over the windows of Ed Burke's City Hall office, that was the moment.
Hold it. You know what, Kristen? I got to go to traffic and weather, but if you could hold on, I got a couple more questions when we come back. Hey, WVON family, it's the WVON Morning Show. We'll be back with traffic and the weather.
More of the Morning Show with Maze Jackson coming up.
I wonder, you got any questions for her?
Nah.
You don't be gunshot from him. You better go ahead and start.
Well, you know what I've learned is I ain't got nothing to ask her right now. I get nothing that pops in my mind. But they still have a thing with people from the 8th ward. They give Michelle a hard time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to fix that. Well, we need to make sure you're straight. That's what happened. Let me stop. I don't want to speak on that. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask her, so where does the millennial vote go?
Wait, that might be my wife. That's my other wife.
Who?
Eric Russell. he's always like, hey, what you talking about? Hey, call me. Let me call in and say something.
We're gonna ask her who she thinks is gonna make the runoff. I want to ask about Why did she think no one cared about Tony Preckwinkle's campaign manager being fired for anti-Semitic statements?
It didn't make a lot of news, but it made news, but not a lot of news.
That's because that did not make a lot of news because of the R. Kelly thing. I swear to God.
Yeah, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly took
tsunami. He just took everything and just wiped out all the other news stories.
Right, and you think they didn't do that on? You think nobody thought that out?
I think you're probably right.
You think nobody said indict his ass today? Because we do not. Can you imagine the Tony Preckwinkle story with her on the front page with anti-Semitic?
No, that would have ran for 3 days.
And have you seen Scott? And when you look at dude, he looks like he could be like if somebody was to make a meme of his pictures with that haircut and them you could make him look like.
Oh, he's the one from the Democratic Party.
Yeah, the North Side guy. Yeah. Two Scots that run her stuff. Let me just say this. What do you think SEIU workers say when $2 million of their money goes in Tony Preckwinkle and she doesn't make the runoff? I think they probably have to. I think they're gonna see a lot of what's that rule that just passed that you can opt out of your union, and I think that the union should have to consider new leadership at the top. I think that with SEIU and teachers split so much over SEIU particularly split on their endorsement of Tony when the people when their regular members didn't want to go, but Balanoff, Kastrup, and Morrison decided they was gonna push all that money there. Man, what happens if they lose? Mm-hmm. Like you just blew $2.5 million of our money on a candidate that we didn't even support.
Man, those guys were on my ass for 4 years.
Yep.
Man, they made it tough. And we made them whole in the end. We brought all their workers back.
And guess what?
And they still.
That's why you can't. Da-da-da-da-da. No, I don't think they're gonna leave. I think they gotta just vote them people out. The final countdown! You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting there with me is Miss Kristen McQuarrie. Kristen, so I got a question for you because, you know, in the world of campaigns, I would say that the biggest surprise to me was the train wreck of a campaign that was filled with self-inflicted wounds by the Preckwinkle campaign. I think it was a comedy of errors. But the thing that I had a question about, that it seemed like no one seemed to care very much about, was the fact that Tony Preckwinkle fired her campaign manager with 4 days to go for anti-Semitic posts. Now, anytime, anywhere else, that would have been front page news for 5 weeks. Why did that not make any news?
You know, it made a little bit of news, but you're right. It was, I mean, this wasn't just her campaign manager. This was someone who was basically her right hand at the Cook County Democratic Party. I mean, he's run campaigns for years throughout the city. He's run state rep races. So I think it's maybe probably a little bit of a double standard with the media. You know, they sort of pick and choose what they're going to be outraged about.
What?
And
Go ahead, Kristen.
He got protected, you know, and I can't explain why some things blow up and they're on the front page of the Tribune and other times they're not. But that was a serious mistake that her campaign manager made. And like I said, it was not just some person. This is somebody who basically runs the Cook County Democratic Party as well.
Man, well, I'm going to tell you what. I think, Kristen, this is going to be a barn burner. And what's crazy is, with everything that's going on, we still may not know who is going to win tonight because there are 38,000 vote-by-mail ballots that can be stamped today.
Right.
That's exactly right. I would not expect that we will know tonight. We might know who won a the people is going to be who's going to make the runoff, but we probably won't know the second person. There's also those provisional ballots. If you show up at your polling place and for some reason they don't have a record of you being a registered voter, you can still cast a ballot, but they sort of hang on to it while they check your registration. So there'll be a number of those that will need to be counted too. And in these tight aldermanic races, we won't know results probably tonight either.
Okay, so let's go. Here we go. So give me your predictions as to who will be in the runoff. Who are your top two, and who do you think is a sleeper?
In terms of aldermanic races?
Nope. First, we're going to start with the mayor. We're going down the list.
Going down the list. All right. So I think Bill Daley's going to make the runoff. I just think he has the organization. So I would put him up there. And then in second place, I'm saying that I think one of these other candidates will surge, like a Lori Lightfoot or a Willie Wilson. I mean, Willie Wilson has support from the Northwest Side Republican organization.
I agree.
County Republican organization. So I would say the number 2 slot is going to be a little bit of a surprise.
Okay. All right, but you got to give me one. So pick one. And then pick one and then give me your sleeper.
Okay. My number 2 to surprise make the runoff, I'm going to say Lori Lightfoot.
Okay.
And the surprise behind her, I would say, will be Toni Preckwinkle. That's not really a surprise, but I think she's going to come in third.
Okay, that's good. All right. What do you think is going to happen in the clerk's race?
Gosh, that's going to be tough because, I mean, I think Melissa Conyers-Irvin probably has the best organization to get the vote out, and that's a race. I mean, who's really paying attention to the treasurer's race except people like me and you? So I think she probably has a good shot.
You think she can do it without? You think she can do it without a runoff?
I think she can do it without a runoff. Yeah.
Okay. And then, what do you think is the surprise aldermanic race to watch, or what should we look for in the aldermanic races that people wouldn't ordinarily think?
You know, I don't think down south there's too many. I don't think there's going to be too much of a shakeup. I mean, we endorsed someone else in the 5th district, Leslie Hairston's district in South Shore. So I'd sort of like to see a challenger beat Leslie Hairston. She did end up in a runoff last time around. And then the other sort of races to watch are up on the northwest side, where you have that big Lincoln Yards development that's really controversial, and you have like the Cubs are getting behind a certain candidate against Tom Tunney. Those are going to be sort of close races on the northwest side.
All right. Well, Kristen, I have taken your notes down, and I'm going to publish everybody's, and we're going to see who's the best at the end of this. But, Kristen, I cannot tell you I'll be honest with you. I'll be glad to whittle this thing down from 14 to 2, because this 14 has just been unwieldy.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And also my prognostications are usually really bad. I'm just kidding.
Well, don't feel bad, because there's quite a few of us that have that record as well. WVON family, that is Kristen McQuarrie. She's on the editorial board with the Chicago Tribune. Kristen, thanks for being back, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks so much, Maze. I appreciate it.
All right. Hey, look, let me go to the phone lines. I got time for one call before we go. Let's go to Brother Hall. Brother Hall, you're on the Talk of Chicago.
Brother Hall in the street for VON unofficially.
All right. You know what? I'm going to have you calling in. I'm going to need you to give me some reports for tonight, too, because I'm coming back from 6 to 9.
Absolutely. Well, let me give you this small thing now. I'm in the 13th Ward at Pasteur School, which is 55th west of Pulaski, and I was surprised to see that Urban, they're carrying her. Their 13th Ward, Madigan's office, is carrying Urban's wife. I don't think that those other candidates have a Chinaman's chance, and they're pushing her hard. In the 14th Ward, I think that Ed Burke is going to pull it off. Those captains are out there, even though Chewy's palm cards is out there for the young lady, but I don't think the organizational structure is there. So those are the two that I say that we should watch. I'm going to head into the 47th Ward, up and around that area, and I'll call you guys back later.
Hey, Brother Hall, you know what? So that is great that you're doing that. Can you do me a favor? Can you grab an extra palm card from all of those? And if you, like, when you call back, just let me know if you're sick. We want everybody to do this, but Brother Hall, since you're already there, because that's huge. Check these palm cards.
I always do it for clips, so I'll grab an extra one so I can have it for you, okay?
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Hey, it's the WVON Morning Show. That's Brother Hall. You know what? We're going to turn everybody into an on-the-street reporter. How about that, Ty? Because I'm going to tell you, this is where all the shenanigans going. We want to know who's on the palm cards. If you out, you going to elect somebody today, you going to vote, pick up a palm card, call us, tell us what you see, tell us who you told. Look, it's about, when we come back, we'll be talking to Mike Flannery from Fired Up with Flannery Fired Up on Fox 32 on Talk of Chicago 6898.
The Talk of Chicago.
I lost it.
1690 WVON, Bourbon, Chicago.
Right. There you go. You got the camera. What up, JGB?
Yeah, I don't know. Chris McCurry's just about as well informed as the rest of us. She doesn't know exactly what's going on either. So, but I think she did have a good point about the surge. I saw in the paper with Lori Lightfoot being in somebody's poll, but it's a statistical tie with Bill Daley and Tony Prewinkle. I think she's cannibalized some of Tony's voting base, and as Mays was saying, I think the problem with Tony's campaign is Tony has, as she calls herself a boss, her campaign style has been steamrolling. I'm just gonna run everybody over, and you guys get behind me because I'm the boss, and if you don't get behind me, then you will get steamrolled. And you know that works for a while, but if people see that the rest of the crowd doesn't love you and they can get away, they may leave. You know, they say, I think Machiavelli probably said this, it's better to be feared than loved. But you know, when the fear factor leaves, you know, the villagers may turn on you and they burn you. I guess that's what happened like in Romania, where they hung the guy after they like, hey, we free. So, you know, being loved may not be the greatest tactic, because people get when they see fear, they're like, oh, I'm going to die, so I'm going to go with that guy. But I think Prewinkle is in trouble. She's sliding and may not make this runoff. Lightfoot making the runoff would be really interesting to me, because I don't really see our city as being it's not San Francisco. I don't see it as being a city that's necessarily saying we are looking to identify ourselves with a gay candidate. The South Side is still pretty conservative, as I know it, and so is the West Side. So I don't know how many votes you can get out of those two, even if she makes the runoffs. I think that would be interesting, and it would show a lot about what direction the city is taking in the future. If we do get to let's say a Bill Daley, Lori Lightfoot runoff, and I'm not sure if these old pensioners, and you know, I can always talk about my block and how about 60% of the people on my block are older than me. They're either living on pensions or they're working for a government entity or something. I'm not sure if they're looking for that direction yet. I don't think we're quite that liberal or progressive as they call themselves. You know, some of the guys who were in the progressive caucus on the South Side, I understand the change, but I also know that, man, sometimes as May says, change generally means that black people just got fired, which is a strange change because we never were hired at the right numbers anyway. So it's going to be tough out there tonight when those numbers come in. Somebody's going to be crying, and some people who thought they were going to be on top of the mountain aren't going to be. But I think he's right also that some people can see this as a way to bring themselves up on the stage where they weren't on the stage before and they weren't going to be. And this was a chance for them to show themselves to the public. And to be honest with you, I have no problem with that. You know, if you're talking about something that's important and you are also raising your image, shoot, there ain't nothing wrong with that. There's no way, unless you're, you know, J.B. Pritzker or Rounder or Willie Wilson, and you got millions of dollars to spend on your own. It's very hard to get people to see or notice you. In my last race, our biggest problem was money more than anything. You know, got bad press for 4 years. But sometimes if you can spin your own message, people will look at you in a different light. We didn't have any money to make a message. So it's this is a good way for young people like LaShawn and Amara to actually say, look, I know what I'm doing, or at least I know what the issues are. I got some ideas on how to correct these things. And the next time they run the editorial boards, they've already gone through all that kind of stuff. The editors will know who they are. They'll know where they're coming from. They might even get, you know, some good relationships with some of these boards, you know, because they don't mind bashing you, but, you know, it'd be nice if they could write something nice about you. And sometimes even when they don't give you the nod that, we think this is the person, if they like you, they'll still say something good about you. So it's not a bad thing for people who might be up and comers if they stay in it and they can find a base that will support them. I mean, I've known a few guys who I don't think are too bright, and they're definitely not, at least they're not working on behalf of people who look like me, but they found a base. And they won their elections, not here on the south or the west sides, but they won their elections, and, you know, and once you get in, then it's how do I maximize this to help the people who are in my area, which is what I think some of these reporters sometimes tend to forget, that part of your job as the elected official is to help people from your region. I mean, that's why you're generally elected, because you have a base that is looking for something, and you're trying to fill whatever gap that is. I think a lot of us have forgotten that, and sometimes trying to be progressive. We're so progressive that we'd rather cut our own throats and then stand up and say, no. We ain't had nothing for 200 years. Right now we need something.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Wake up! Wake up!
Start over everything, dog!
Rise and shine with the WVON Morning Show.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Featuring Maze Jackson.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The WVON Morning Show.
Wake up!
Call 773-591-1690.
Wake up!
This shit can't.
Security. Is that true? Is that true? Living under your spotlight, just because you think I might find somebody. Whoa, don't like living under your spotlight. Did y'all see Jennifer Hudson's feet? Please tell me that was photoshopped. Did y'all see that on Facebook?
I saw that.
Oh my God! Whoa! That you? Is that you? You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me, as he has and will be doing all week, it is former Cook County Board President Todd Stroger. Got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as the two Sonias, Sonia Escobar and Sonia Tompkins, my super producer. Got to say what's up to Sophia Sophia. She is here all the way from Pakistan watching and learning part of the World Chicago Media Training Program. And y'all, look, it's election day. We're trying to bring you the coverage. So let me say what's up. Y'all, you know what? I used to tell you all that I used to die to be on Sunday morning TV. You know, I am a Sunday morning news show junkie. And I found a show that eventually I was invited to be on, and I would like to say I come on pretty regularly. It is Flannery Fired Up, and the host of the show, Mike Flannery, oftentimes we have some great conversations and discussions. So I thought it'd be great for him to come here to the WVON Morning Show and give us some insights as to what he's seeing in this election cycle.
Did Mike ask you to play that song for the intro?
Yeah, that was Mike. Mike was like, you got to get me, Maze, hook me up with the J Hood. You know, I'm coming on WVON. He was like, give me some Chicago soundtrack. That voice you hear laughing in the background is our guy, Mike Flannery. Mike, how are you this morning, man? It's election day. What's going on?
I don't know. There's, I still think, Maze is tied that we could end up with a shocker tonight. It just feels 14 candidates. We're not getting a giant voter turnout. You know, there could be a surprise.
Now, what kind of surprise do you think, Mike? Like, all right, so let me ask. So let's just go down the list. Right now, conventional wisdom says there's 5 people rotating in the top spot. It seems like everybody I talk to at this point is now saying that they think Daley is one of the 2. Do you agree with that?
No, not necessarily, man. I'll tell you, there's a couple of Obama campaign veterans, a guy named Jeremy Bird and another Hari Zavugan at 270 Strategies downtown. They did a poll that was released yesterday, and it showed Daley, Lori Lightfoot, and actually it showed Lori Lightfoot slightly ahead, a 1/10 of a point. It was Lightfoot, Daley, and Preckwinkle. They were all at 14, 14, and 14. But with Mendoza, Chico, and Willie Wilson all within the margin of error, it could be, from where I sit, it could be 2 of those 6.
Okay, so
and toss a coin.
And toss a coin. So what do you think will be the determining factor, Mike, in your estimation?
I think it's going to be regional turnout. Look, I think the old-time racial bloc voting in Chicago is gradually fading away. I think there's still some of it, but it's being undermined this time by the fact that there's two Hispanic leading candidates. I've even lost count of how many African American leading
6,
candidates.
man. Oh, well, not leading, but there's 6 in the race.
Yeah. But you got Lightfoot, Wilson. Half of those 6 top contenders I just named are African American. 2 of them are female.
But we really only count one of them. On the black side of town, we really only count one of the 3 you named as black. Just so you're clear.
Meaning Willie Wilson?
Yes.
All right, so explain that.
So here's what I say. Okay, so fundamentally, Mike, in our estimation, when we think about the black candidate, we think about people that are going to at least acknowledge or speak to our issues. I think that Lori Lightfoot has really positioned herself as the LGBT sort of progressive candidate that uses her COPA experience to kind of have a reason for black people to care about her. Toni Preckwinkle, in my estimation, is the candidate that white people assume is the black candidate because she makes them the most comfortable. But when you look at who is really supporting her in the black community, you have not really seen this overwhelming wave of support. Even when you look at the people that are endorsing her, she's kind of flat as it relates to black people. And quite frankly, she had to win. She has to give up black things to attract her progressive audience. And so I look at her as more of a Lakeshore liberal candidate who is now trying to reestablish black credibility because she lost a lot of that progressiveness with this Ed Burke scandal.
I mean, Preckwinkle really in this campaign, if you look at the base of support, where the money's from, where the workers are from, she's really the public government union candidate.
Bingo!
I mean, that's where that's the heart of her support. The teachers union and SEIU. I mean, they poured millions of dollars collectively into her campaign. So that leaves Willie Wilson.
Man, Willie Wilson.
And Mays, you and I have talked about this. I mean, I'm told by young millennial African Americans, some of my colleagues at Fox 32 and others, that Willie just can't win citywide. Maybe he gets into the runoff, but he just can't be elected citywide.
I hear that a lot from people too, but I think that one of the things, Mike, that is happening is that there is a desire by black people to have their issues brought to the forefront, and I think right now Willie is in the best position to do that. Go ahead, Todd, you had some insight.
Yeah, I think that Willie, unfortunately for Willie, his base is really poor African Americans and rich people, and that's just not a wide enough base. And there's no way for him to expand. He's not able to talk to the rest of us that he's, I guess in a sense, hasn't been a part of that group for decades.
Well, I mean, Todd, he's promising. It was to some degree when you were county board president, you confronted this. He says not only do we not need to raise taxes, he's promising he won't raise a single tax or fee. And he says he's going to cut.
Yeah, I mean, Willie...
Is that real? Is that realistic?
He speaks as like a Republican, and no, it's not realistic because government is not designed to make money. It's designed to actually lose some money. Unfortunately, it doesn't even break even. So as costs go up, because there's always costs that go up, electricity, utilities, you already signed contracts with the employees that are going to add millions of dollars. You can't get away from that.
Well, I mean, these public employee unions are backing Preckwinkle because they want to raise taxes. There's not a tax or fee they don't want to raise.
Exactly. So look, Mike, I know you got to go because you have big election coverage. So I'm going to run down the list really quickly. You gotta give them to me. All right. So who, if you had to pick, and I put a gun to your head, I probably shouldn't say that in Chicago. No. But if we had to make you pick, who are the two people that you think will make the runoff, and I'll give you a sleeper, and a sleeper.
Well, I mean, I do think it's a three-way.
Okay.
And Lightfoot is surging. People stop me on the street, recognize me, and ask about Lightfoot. Maybe they feel they know what they need to know about Bill Daley and Tony Preckwinkle and Chico and Mendoza. So I think Lightfoot gets into the second round for voting on April 2nd.
Okay.
And it could be two African American women. I mean, it could be Lightfoot and Preckwinkle. It could be Lightfoot and Daley.
So you're saying that you're guaranteeing that it's like...
If I had to pick, I'd say Lightfoot and Bill Daley.
Okay, Lightfoot and Daley with Preckwinkle as your sleeper. All right, what do you think happens in the treasurer's race?
I think there's likely to be a runoff, but I think it's a Maya Pawar probably finishes first, and then Melissa Conyers, Irvin is in the runoff with him.
And give me yours. Does Ed Burke make it?
Well, Mike Forshea, I think he does.
Okay.
Mike Forshea the other day said that Burke is knocking on doors in the 14th ward. people are apparently flabbergasted. They open the door and there's Ed Burke.
Oh my God! Could you imagine Ed Burke being at your door? I wish somebody would. I need to see the Ring videos from this. I need to see the Ring videos. Hey, WVON family, that is Mike Flannery. He is the host of Flannery Fired Up. He's also the political editor at Fox 32. You can catch me on that show every once in a while, pretty regularly. Hey, Mike, we appreciate you, man, and we're gonna call you back just to see how all these things went on election day.
And well, if yeah. So I threw the dart against the board. That's where it landed.
There it is. I appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you later. Hey, y'all, we'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with me.
Man, I need to be on this week's show.
Right. What do they usually ask you?
Usually on Wednesday or Thursday. Like, depending on when it takes, like, usually Wednesdays. I think they'll probably be looking and see who was right. Plus, we got a lot of footage of what we said was going to happen before the race. So I think this will be good. All right. I feel like this is what I think with polls. I don't think polls go like this. This is changing every day.
Mm-hmm.
I think polls go like this. They go in waves. So I don't think that there was some lightning rod moment that changed everything over a day and Preckwinkle went from this to this. I think that they missed something and they weren't tracking it. But I don't know if somebody goes from 12 to I just don't think that
Are you talking about not Brett, what's her name? Lightfoot?
Yeah. Like, I don't like when, and then again, this company that released the poll saying that is for Lightfoot. Right? So it's like, right. And it's like, but I do feel like Tony Preckwinkle is like dropping like a rock in general.
Well, between, as we stated before, with all the Burke coverage she got, which lasted at least a month, then you also have Lightfoot getting all this publicity that she didn't have previously, with the papers endorsing her and getting some local papers to endorse her, and then she ran a couple of ads. People start to know who you are. And I don't know if that's enough to propel her, but I think she's definitely chewing into Tony Preckwinkle's base. But I just don't see, if she gets in the runoff, I don't know. Are we at this point San Francisco? I don't think so. I don't know if we're there yet. But it's also interest. How many people are interested? So, as Christian was stating, numbers might be down, might be a low turnout. If black people aren't interested in either candidate, then they're probably not going to come out when it comes past this runoff part. But right now, I'm with everybody else. It's a toss-up. I think Bill Daley just has a base. Part of it's his presidential stuff and people who've been backing Daley's for decades.
Whoa, sweet thing. Mm-hmm. You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Hey, y'all, we are talking about the mayor's race election day. So can I get y'all to do...
We're on a Chicago roll right now. That's another Chicago artist.
That's Mary J. Blige.
Oh, is it? No,
Yeah.
that wasn't Mary J. Blige. It's Shaka Khan.
Oh, was it Shaka Khan version? I thought this was the Mary J. Oh, I couldn't hear
Oh
that
my
good.
goodness.
You
Maze, I'm taking away your music card.
Todd, you can't take my music card because Jay-Z got it. But you know what? Since we playing Chicago music, see, how y'all feel about that? You know what? I'm going to stop. So I want this mayor's race. It's election day. I want you all to do something for me. WVON family, when you all go to the polling place, I want you to look at the palm cards, right? What is the palm card? The palm card is the card that those people that are standing outside of the polling place are handing you. WVON family, I want you to grab as many of the ones, not get as many different ones as you can, and then I want you to post them. Take pictures of Facebook and post them. What I really would, I want you to be able to pay attention. This is how you know who's supporting who, right? So if you get a palm card from a candidate and it has said alderman, and then on the back it has their mayoral candidate or whoever, that's how you know. If you get, like I was looking at yesterday, there was a piece that had 50 aldermen, well not 50 because some of the aldermen, Tony Preckwinkle had passed out, had some of the aldermen left out. Right. Well, that can tell you who she's supporting or who's supporting her or not. So I want you all to grab the palm cards and look at them, take pictures of them, post them. If you went to your polling place, if you went out today, if you're voting and you're on your way to work or whatever and you're listening, give us a call, 773-591-1690. Tell me what you saw. Look at the red number at your polling place when you go to turn in your vote. Tell me how many people voted, right? Let us know, what are you seeing? Do you see on your palm card, when you're in a black neighborhood, does the palm card have Melissa Conyers Irvin on there for a state rep? Or for city treasurer? Who does it have there? Who do they have for mayor? So you can know, because I'm going to tell you, if Melissa doesn't win, we can be able to pinpoint who supported her and who didn't by the palm cards.
And people still ask, when I go out, people are like, what do you think? They're looking for direction sometimes. So those palm cards do have some bearing on the election.
And then, y'all, I want y'all to give me a call. If you all want to, if you got a candidate you representing, who you think is going to win? Give me it. I'm taking it all today. We talking to everybody. Let me be clear. I am not against the millennials at all. I think that the millennials actually have the largest turnout. Now, I wasn't the largest black millennial turnout. My concern for our millennials is that I believe that perfect practice makes perfect. If you practice wrong, then when you get to the game, you lose. I am very concerned that we are very rapidly losing the people like the Richard Barnetts of the world, right, the young Democrats of the world, people who were trained. Like now, I'm just concerned that we haven't learned the process, and it's like we're trying to fight a system that they don't necessarily understand. And so I look to learn today. What I look to learn today is to learn the power of all of these alternative ways of campaigning. I think that I feel like you add them to the mix, you don't replace the mix with them. So all of these new tactics are add-ons, not necessarily. And I'm curious to see how much social media will play in this election. All right, I'm going to go to the phone lines. I'm going to go to Anthony. Anthony on Talk Chicago, 1690.
Hey, good morning, man.
Good morning. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. Man, you just repeated what I had called and told you 3 weeks ago when I said the game is real and we need to learn it, man. You were just saying about the millennials. But I think this was figured out a long time ago, man. Remember, I called and spoke to you, maybe you and Charles Thomas when Ron first came and he ran, and I was just saying how Barack Obama gave him credibility by making him his chief of staff. So that kind of neutralized us, our community, because whatever Barack said went. Same thing happened. Bill Daley come in the last 8-9 months of Barack's administration, chief of staff. He's going to be the city next minute. I'm just saying, I get mad when they use the same tricks on us, Maze, that we don't learn.
Man.
And also, could you help the listeners understand when you have more than one horse in a race? Explain that to them. Thanks.
But I think that this, I think it's the whole premise of the right. First of all, guys, we're not living in the Harold Washington era, so the black community, as its own, cannot elect the mayor.
No, and they didn't do it with Harold.
No.
So we voted at like 98% for Harold Washington, and literally like 98% of the registered voters voted, but he barely won. If he didn't have a coalition with the Lakefront and some Hispanics, he couldn't win. So
let's go to. I'm gonna go to Nate. Nate, you wanna talk Chicago 1690? Nate.
Good morning.
Come on, talk to me, brother. Good morning. We didn't forget, so come on, say it now. Come on.
You know what? You guys, in the mayoral race, you guys forgetting all about LaShawn Ford. He's an elected state official from the West Side. I'm thinking between him and Amari or Inya, they should be able to pull out 14%.
Okay.
That's my comment.
Thank you, Nate. I don't think that that's realistic. Let me just say that I believe that LaShawn Ford is a great representative for black people. I think that he is one of the candidates that, especially in Springfield, is one of the first people to be in the forefront of all types of issues that impact black people, as well as jobs and staying very much in contact.
I'm totally with you.
But
don't reach. He hasn't had the reach.
I don't know if he's had the reach or the finances to be able to get it done. And so right now, guys, I'm not in Wakanda. I'm really at this point trying to make a decision, but I'm gonna say that I really appreciate the LaShawn Ford campaign and the things they added to it. Milton, you want to talk Chicago 1690?
Yes. You made a statement that the government is not in business to make money. What is an IRS and what are property taxes?
Go ahead, Todd.
Oh man, your property taxes are spent on a ton of things, but about 65% of your property taxes are spent on education. And then there's other things, like part of it goes to the forest preserve, part goes to water rec, part goes to public safety, public health. We spend money on things, but we don't get a lot of return. A lot of it is we're just paying people to do things.
It's the WVON Morning Show. We'll be back after traffic, news, and the weather. It's the final countdown. Go ahead, Todd. You can talk to him.
Now.
You got it.
You know, we used to, in the county, we used to, I go around and I had this gigantic property tax bill. And I was using it as a prop to show people where their property taxes actually go. Because people tend not to realize that the vast majority of your taxes, over 50%, usually around 65%, go to your school district. Maybe about 10% go to your municipality, so about 10% of our taxes go to the city of Chicago, or the village of Homewood, or the village of Evanston. And then, there's other smaller things that are broken down.
It's still cold in here. Do you? No.
And then there's other things that are broken down. There's actually a small portion that goes directly to public health and your water reclamation district. So money's spent, but when you're doing things like putting roads in and putting street lights in and paying salaries of teachers and people who are running your buildings, your operating engineers, those things aren't money generators. So you are just paying salaries to have services rendered. So the government's, they're not selling widgets. They can't say, okay, we're going to charge you. So when you get charged for things like water and what else do we charge people? Sewers and all that stuff. That cost is just meant to replace sewers and pipes, and they're doing a big old project right there on Stony Island, right down the street from us. 83rd Street, 85th Street, 84th Street. That's not making any money. That's all going out. I mean, they're paying laborers, they're paying the contractor fees, they're paying the plumbers, the pipe fitters, all those guys, the carpenters, all those guys are just getting paid a salary. So government isn't in the business of making money. If they were, then people would scream even more.
Keep going.
Sometimes when the budget is really in bad shape, that's when you see fees go up. So, you know, when they're searching for money, they're not going to raise your property taxes. They're going to say, all right, you, Joe Public, have to come down to the Daily Center. And you have to go to court for whatever reason. And so we used to charge you 25 cents a copy for whatever you want. Well, now we're going to charge you 50 cents a copy. So they try to raise a little money that way, but you're talking small increments. It's a small group of people who actually are going to get copies. So, you know, they raise fees for things like the state. The state will say, all right, there's so many people who hunt, so to try to raise money or to pay for the department itself, we are going to charge you more money to get a license to hunt. Things like that. So no, government's not in the business of actually making money. Now sometimes, like, there may be a tax, and the tax will generate more money than expected, or at least in the beginning, they'll generate more money than expected. And that money might be put aside into a rainy day fund for when we hit the valleys, you know, because it's not always going to be good. When I was the county board president, we came in, economy was rolling along. The next year, the whole bottom fell out, foreclosures were all over the place. The way the county did make money to pay its costs were through land, and so our revenue was made when you bought or sold a home. Well, for 2 years, people couldn't even get loans, so nobody was buying or selling homes in any volume. So the county's funds became stagnant, and that's why we needed an increase, and that's where the sales tax 1 penny increase came in. But that actually was designed to last the county for about let's see, that would be 08. So that was like a 6-year fix as we had seen it, where we wouldn't have to talk about taxes for another 6 years. It gave us enough revenue to try to upgrade some services. So that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping for the county, not the county, but the economy to stay strong. So, it all looks simple and it all sounds easy, but man, this is real math, and this is more like calculus when you're trying to do a budget with very little money. Arithmetic is easy, but making something out of nothing, you're supposed to make a nickel look like a dime.
Loving somebody when somebody loves you back, and that's the fact. So big love. Me and Carrie was watching the Teddy Pendergrass special yesterday. We was like, dang, we thought that was Harold Melvin. Appreciate.
Lift me higher, so good. Loving somebody.
Somebody loves you back. So,
Y'all gotta move over. Move over, move over. They gotta move over. Move over. They gotta move over.
So good. And somebody loves you back. Not so fast. So good.
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Now, if you was watching Facebook Live, then you saw Annette Flournoy get out the newsroom and teach our international guest how to do the Chicago. She was stepping, and she picked it up right away.
I don't think you can see, man, but everybody was dancing. Perry was in there dancing.
Look, I'm going to tell you. Sophia was killing it. Now, Sophia, she going to be taking stepping. Look, now you know Kenny B. Look, Kenny B gonna have the world's greatest stepper set right in Pakistan. We gonna be somewhere in Pakistan, and Kenny B gonna be like, "Hey, brother Mays, me and my boy Frazier, Mr. Frazier, we gonna be over here. Look, taking stepping international. It's the WVON morning show. Hey y'all, it is election day. I want to talk to you all. Man, what are you seeing at the polling places? How many people turned out? Who do you think is going to be in the runoff? Who's going to win your aldermanic race? You know, when I leave out of here, Todd, I am headed over to my old stomping grounds, the 18th Ward, where I will be checking in with my man, Derek Curtis, who I expect to romp today. But I'm going to be going Facebook Live just a little bit longer. I'm going to be Facebook Living from around the entire city.
Okay. You're not gonna do a Tony Crabwell thing, though, right?
I'm I'm waiting for my invite to the party tonight.
No, I bet you're not gonna have the Facebook Live on in your pocket and start saying crazy stuff.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. We leave that to Al. I am trying to get an invite to the party tonight. Can I tell you I want to go to the party?
Is the party open at all?
All but you, Negro. They be like, everybody but Mays. All right, tell me, what are y'all seeing out there? And you know, the other thing I want to add into the mix, because I think people got, I don't want nobody to be sensitive about the millennials, but I want to know what do you think the outcome will be for the millennials tonight? We got some millennial candidates that are running as well that have made some names for themselves. No shade. I just think that there's a lot that we've got to add to the mix, not throw away. So what are you seeing at the polling places? Who are you voting for? Who you think is going to be in the runoff? You got something you want to say? Give me a call. This is the call I want to talk to. Hilton, you want to talk to Chicago 1690. You early voted. How did it go?
Voters remorse, Mays. Voters remorse.
What?
I should have known better. If I had to take 2 votes back, it would have been the mayoral vote I would take back. And it would be the city clerk. Because I didn't know anything about the city clerk. And then the mayoral vote I would have took back because I saw the signs. You know, you see the signs and then you go against it. And then when I heard your show today, I was like, damn. So that's where I'm at. I'll never early vote again. Your show is very helpful. I even wrote Todd in when Tony was running.
Hey, that's
what I'm saying.
That's what I'm talking about.
No. Seriously. Tony got some issues. She's very entitled. I don't see her going far at all. But I know so many people that are on that damn bandwagon. They think that power, that machine power, they on that fucking bandwagon.
Hey, you can't be dropping them F-bombs, man. Dump. Dion, you on the Talk of Chicago. What you seeing out there? Who you voting for? Who are the surprises? Who's going to be in the runoff?
Listen, I think it's Willie Wilson. I think y'all underestimating him. Y'all Donald Trumping him. In 2016, everybody thought it was going to be all of these political people, with establishment people, or Hillary Clinton, or Jeb Bush. And I honestly think the people are with Wilson, and you guys are underestimating him because he's going to get a larger number of the white vote than you guys are giving him credit for.
Let me tell you what, Willie Wilson, quite frankly, is my sleeper choice. I think that Willie Wilson could sneak up on people. But
don't you think it's interesting that The way Willie Wilson would be sneaking up on people is because he's stating that he's going to fire a bunch of people.
Man, well, see, look at you, man. What you doing, man? See, it made me fire all the white people. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony Preckwinkle fired. Okay, but I'm just saying Tony Preckwinkle fired all the black people.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the bloodbath came. I hope I did not get in trouble. Lord, it is. Let me tell you, it is the hat. It is. You know what? If we could go back in time and have a time machine, how many people you think they would put Dorothy Tillman right back in the spot in the third ward? I would move back to put her back. Maybe you can get some Maybe you go be Alexandria Willis's great fairy grandmama and get us straight. But WVON family, we done been talking to everybody. Let's make sure we give a warm round of welcome to Mama Dorothy Tillman. Dorothy Tillman on the morning show.
Good morning, mate. And it's Willis Wynn. I'm going to try to really work with her to do what she got to do for the black community. And the rest, she said all of the third ward, but especially our community. But what I was calling you about was I've enjoyed your show this morning. You had a wonderful show. I want to tell you that.
Thank you.
But there's one thing that's missing. And Todd, you know this. May's probably too. But we keep talking about the mayoral race. But regardless of what Rahm Emanuel did, or what whoever win the mayoral election do, the aldermen have power that they don't use. You was an alderman. We served together, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's strong alderman, weak mayor.
That's how it's written.
Right. And if the mayor and if the community doesn't get anything, it's because the aldermen don't fight, just like they're doing in the federal election and Congress and everywhere else. If the alderman, when your father was in office, he took care of the 8th Ward. You know, so these aldermen are not really taking care of their communities, a lot of them. They're giving their power back. Rahm don't have all the power everybody keep hollering about. He couldn't take the TIF money without in the third ward passing somebody giving it back to him or signing off. They couldn't even put the red light cameras up without an alderman signing off.
That's right.
So I think we don't politically educate our people to the point that who represents you locally have a lot to do with what's going to happen in your community. Am I right, Tom?
No, you're absolutely right. The power that the mayor has, a lot of it is given to him. But in the rules, it is actually with the council. But they just don't. They don't work together. If you don't talk to each other, how are you ever going to do anything?
Right. When I was there. Well, that's why the Black Caucus was started. People don't understand. It was Shaw, myself, and Madeline Hayes Caucus. And that was, we put together the Black Caucus, not to be trying to have, we with the Black Caucus and being with the Progressive, but we decided that we wanted to get some of those contracts and how we was going to do it. And we consolidated our power. And we would meet and break up the budget and say who was going to fight for this. And we began to exert ourselves. Well, certainly most of us, they thought, oh, Lord, these Negroes are getting strong, got to get rid of them. And then they put folks in who have Black Caucus in name only. But it used to be, Todd, you remember, even like with Partee, when he was in office, he brought those currency exchange back to the black community. Most folks don't know there was Partee who put currency exchange and let black folks become a franchise. Am I correct?
No, you're right.
And the thing that Cordelia Davis would bring back, and your father, even with Harold Washington when he was a state rep or when he was a senator, I'm saying there used to be resources brought back to the black community. But these folks now, they're not being served. It's like a job to get a pension or something. It's not about how am I going to make sure that that community that I serve is stabilized. Do you understand what I'm saying here, Nate?
I certainly do. You know what? And it is, I always appreciate this information and the lessons that I get. But you know what I got to do? I got to go to traffic and the weather. And then we'll be back to close this thing out. Hey, it's the election special. That is Mama Dorothy Tillman. Hey, man, I promise you if I could vote for her today,
you vote for her?
I vote for her today.
Yeah,
Can we write her in? Why don't y'all write in? Nah, vote for Alex. Well, let me stop. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm going to go stop by Alexandria Willis and say what's up, too. Hey, it's Talk Chicago. We'll be back after traffic, news, the weather. No news.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up.
Go ahead, Todd. You got the camera, man.
Dorothy Tillman is absolutely right. You know what really...
Didn't they call them the council wars when the white people did it?
Right. But what the black elected officials need, what we had is we had a black elected officials organizations in the state, and that helped. They really need to get that back together.
Well, they had it. I think they still got it, but I think the premise has become that people are more. You get more reward for being with Madigan or being with the powers that be, so they always compromise.
There's a fear of Madigan that's incredible. I mean, you can almost taste it. It's in there.
I'm telling you, like that black people was like, man, y'all can have them. The elected official, where you be like, guys, you do realize that he knows that if you decide not to vote for him, he's in trouble. Do you realize that if you push...
It's a symbiotic relationship.
It's like they don't understand that the power comes from you. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, like, who cares who the mayor is? I was like, the second that the mayor don't look right to what you're talking about, start counting to 26.
Yeah.
Start counting to 26. I think, like, people have forgotten that it is a weak mayor, strong council. And when you say cut it down to 15, quite frankly, all you're doing is consolidating the power. When you say you want to get rid of aldermanic privilege, all you're doing
is I want the mayor to make the decisions.
But right, you make the mayor the dictator.
Yeah.
You make the mayor say this project is going in your ward, whether you like it or not. So now when all the people in Chatham are mad because they keep getting all the remains of the projects, which, you know, I'm not trying to trip on that, but when you, again, aldermanic privilege stops. If we didn't have aldermanic privilege, Chicago would be New York West, left up to Ron. He would have gave away all the land to all of the, and it ain't developers. He's giving all the land to traders, to hedge funds. Most of these people building are financed by hedge funds. They ain't making the real estate. They're making the real estate money, but they're bundling all. And so all these people, all these Jewish people came to Chicago and was like, yo, Ram is there, our guy is there, put your money together and we can buy all the real estate because we can't afford the real estate in New York, but you could build a whole new Chicago. So now you think about, now there are places where everything they build is $1 million.
Yeah.
So they're putting it to New York. They brought New York to Chicago, and when he leaves, he get to go collect. You think ain't nobody, these are funds. These buildings ain't, like with Chicago, so like with the dailies, they made local people build all this stuff, right? So McHugh, Walsh, all of these companies that were locally based that they could always reach out and touch and be like, put somebody on, and they grew into international buildings. Like people like McHugh be like, man, we don't even do nothing but Jerry Reinsdorf. We only do certain projects. We only do certain type of stuff. Well, essentially what happened is Ram brought all of these people in from everywhere else, and they built wealth for hedge fund people in New York or other places. So the wealth still left Chicago. And then as these corporations come in, they come in and they CEOs can buy all these multi-million-dollar cribs. So when you look at the West Loop and the multi-million-dollar cribs and apartments, think about how many multi-millionaires live in that area now, because of Google, McDonald's, and all of the tech companies that have moved over there. So those white guys, do you think that the mayoral candidate that you're talking about knows how to manage that process? Who in our I'm not even tripping, but when I look at talking about who can manage $1 billion or 12 billion or 10 billion or whatever the city's budget is, who can go talk to the titans of the president of McDonald's essentially is in the West Loop.
Mm-hmm.
Which mayoral candidate is sitting across from the president, CEO of McDonald's and really representing and can garner the respect? I'm not tripping. I'm just saying, like, I think that there's one thing to running the city of Chicago as compared to running University Park. I think like with people saying this don't matter and qualifications don't matter, I think that's crazy.
It's crazy.
Now I'm not saying what qualifications.
America's got about $30 billion that is running through him. There we go.
No, ooh.
Began to rock.
You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is my man, Ty Stroger. Ty.
And we got back to Chicago. We drifted off to Philadelphia, even though that was a great dance.
Hey man, this was one of my favorite movies too. Let's Do It Again. Bill Cosby, Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
When Jimmy Walker, when he was the what was he? Bootney Farnsworth, and that skinniest boxer ever, man. Man, you remember when Bill Cosby came out? What was with them gloves and Mongo Slade and John Amos and
he looked like the P-Funk guy.
Right, and he George Clinton, and he had his little short suit on with the karate shoes, Karate Man. Good old days. All right, y'all. We are wrapping it up. It's the Election Day special. Now, this is the first of my 6 to 9 broadcast today because I'll be back here from 6 to 9 tonight to give you Election Day coverage. So I'm doing double duty tonight, Ty. 6 to 9. You coming back?
Yeah, I'm coming back.
All right, so look,
I need a nap.
You need a nap. I'm gonna actually go run around. I'm gonna go to a couple campaign locations. I'm gonna stop over in the 18th Ward. After I go to the 18th Ward, I think I'm gonna go meet up with my beautiful wife. We are going to go vote together in the 27th Ward. Stop by, see my man Alderman Walter Burnett as he romps today.
Tell him you owe me $50.
Man, that ain't what the D2 say. Look,
it's personal money.
You know what? And that's so crazy because you know what? I seen that dude give away $10,000 to somebody and be like, they owe me $25. I'm like, why you ain't just give them $9,975? Like they owe me $25. Dog, you just gave 10 stacks, man. That but it must be nice to have. You know what? It's pretty dope to be a black.
I know our friend very well. I don't think he wants you talking like that.
Hey man, our friend helps a lot of people though.
He does.
He does help a lot of people, But man, tell you, it's that. I'm telling you, that's gonna be the.
More people coming around saying, "Hey man, I know you guys."
Man, they be looking. I'm gonna tell you though, I think he might be the top fundraiser for black people.
Could be.
I mean, cause man, but he helps a lot of people. He don't play when they do it. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. That's the old school, right? I remember when you was in trouble. I remember the dude came and said, "Here you go, man. I got you."
You're not in trouble now.
Man, you gonna get free, Ty. You gonna get free.
I'm gonna get free.
We's free now. Deborah, you got 30 seconds. Deborah, you got 30 seconds. Come on, sis.
Do with the job that he will do, as long as it's successful and he's not just giving us make sure he's doing it for all. That shouldn't have nothing to do, with it. You know what I'm saying? And then he
you gotta go quick, sis.
Okay. And
so you vote for Willie?
He's not needy. So we ain't got to worry about him being greedy.
That's what I'm talking about. Willie ain't needy, so he ain't got to be greedy. I'm going to tell y'all going to look up. I'm going to be cracking up tonight. Mama T, you got literally 30 seconds. Quick.
Well, after I left you, I want you to know that I got hit at 87th and Indiana, so I took my car over there. I'm in hospital mode, but I am tired of y'all talking down black people. Yes, I'm voting for Dr. Willie Wilson, and I'm voting against Pat Dow, Andrea, whatever, and I want you to stop talking people down. I have 50 million degrees. I have earned 4 degrees, and Dr. Willie Wilson, not only is my candidate, I'm the prayer warrior for Dr. Willie Wilson.
Thank you, Mama T. And we ain't talking. Everybody around here said Willie can win.
That was kind of interesting when she said we're talking down black people, and then she said I'm voting for Horton.
All right, let's go to Debbie. You got the last call. You got 30 seconds.
How you doing this morning, man?
I'm good. Come on, talk to me.
All right, now, you know what? We about to get us a new alderman in the 5th Ward.
Oh, who is it going to be?
Will Calloway.
Oh, Will Calloway. You know what? I like that Will Calloway. Been on the front lines. I think we're going to have a little lesson to learn tonight. Look, it's the WVON Morning Show. It's the first of 269 broadcasts. So, Todd, you're going to be back. We'll be back tonight with some coverage. I think, who else we got? Kimberly Agoin will be here, as well as some other people be calling in. So, for Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, for Miss Sonia Escobar, the music conductor of the Soul Plane, Sonia Tompkins, the super producer, gotta say what's up to my girl Sophia, here all the way from Pakistan. All right, now Todd, it's you, me, tonight. We'll be back. And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. May said, we out of here. Peace!
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation. 1690 WVON.
Go ahead, you got something to say? You vote yet?
I voted.
Like blowing snow under.
I started early voting.
Who'd you vote for?
5 years ago.
Who'd you vote for?
Telling.
You scared?
My wife told me not to tell anybody.
Right,
I am scared. I'm scared of her. Yeah. I did vote for Michelle Harris. And I did go to the ward.
Did she vote for you?
Michelle's my girl.
My girl. My girl. Talking about my girl. So, say, hey, y'all, I'm hearing that I think Thursday is our last day.
I had a feeling it would be this week.
Here. So, I think Friday we'll be broadcasting from a different location.
Hey, Marcus. Yeah, I'm doing well.
All right, y'all. Peace out.